gonna let everybody start rolling in. I know, because it's not even 1 o'clock, but what we can do is if you guys want to go around and say some mom wins, that's typically how we start our coaching calls. I would love to hear some mom wins, get us warmed up. I am nervous, so I'm going to try not to be nervous. What's funny is like, I do this every week now. But I don't know, there's supposed to be, hi, Phil. You're here early. Oh,
what's going on?
Oh my gosh.
How are you?
I wasn't expecting to see him so soon. It's awesome.
So if you guys don't know, Phil Stringer was it in Inc. magazine where you were rated in the top 100 motivational speakers, top 10, I think, but like right alongside Tony Robbins.
It was a top 10 for 2025 and CEO Times. Yeah.
Yeah. Can you guys believe he's here to be with you? He's here to be with you. Wild. Shannon Karen's is in the house.
Yay! I made it. Hi, Tony.
Let me turn this off. Tony,
hello.
what's up?
We already have a bigger turnout than we did at the Empowered Mom Summit, Phil. Isn't that awesome?
That's amazing. I love that.
Samia's here. Hi. I didn't see your name before. Yes. So awesome.
Okay, so we're gonna go around and give some mom wins. I guess my mom win is today I started grilling. I've never grilled before. And I actually did it. I was like, you know what? If my whole thing is preaching for moms just to show up and do their thing, I might as well show up and just do it scared, nervous. And I figured out how to grill. So that's good.
I'm terrified, Chels. I'm terrified to grill. I'm scared if I turn the knobs, it's just gonna go, you know, and like I won't have eyebrows, you know, like.
That has literally happened to me, Alexia.
Yeah, I'm scared. Like sometimes you open the oven too fast and it does that. So I'm like, I don't know. I'm just terrified. I actually like to grill once it's on and like set up, but I don't want to be the one to set it up. But maybe I'll get brave and do it this coming week because of you.
I did it. Amy, yeah, I know. So I lean into my husband all the time for grilling, and he's like, because he works far away now, and he's like, no, you can do this. This is easy. I'm like, I don't have to be that sexist. Let me try. And I did it. Like, we're building businesses here. Yeah, we're building businesses here. We can't turn on a grill. Of course we can. And I did. And I did it in front of all of you. I did it on a live too. So I guess I can wait another minute just to let people roll in. But I do want to say welcome to the Abundant Mom Quarterly Workshop. Hi, Sam. Hi, Amy. Hi, everybody. I'm so happy you're here. We're going to let people continue to roll in. And I'm just going to call it. I am a little bit nervous. So please bear with me. Be patient with me. I love you all. I am so excited that everybody has opted to show up for themselves, that you guys have come and you are here with me and with all of us. When we originally started Abundant Management and Abundant Academy, we set out to find a way for moms to be able to create a digital income stream so they can actually be home with their babies. And we wanted to build a community for moms to find resources for every aspect of their life. And today we are focusing on creating a financial path or recurring revenue stream. Why am I so nervous? I know all of you guys. So we were fortunate enough to sit down and interview Amy Suzanne Upchurch, and she was trying to be here today, but she just so happened to be awarded the top 100 businesswomen in Florida. So I know, Amy Suzanne Upchurch is a mom of 6. She's the founder of Pink Stork, and she has launched a $30 million business on Amazon through COVID. She offers prenatal vitamins. I've actually taken them all of my pregnancies, all 3 of them. And I know Amanda has taken them. She's been so kind to come and sit with us and share all of her tips. So I'm going to play some tidbits that we put together. Her PR team put together a video for her to say hello to us, and that's how we'll kick it off. And then hopefully I'll get myself together and not be so nervous. What in the world? Here we go.
I was not always in the wellness field. Well, I was always very active growing up. I was a college athlete. My body, I would say for the most part, performed in the manner in which I always wanted it to. So I never really intentionally thought about wellness. It was more just like a healthy lifestyle that I lived. But when I got pregnant for my first time, that's when my body shut down on me. And I was like, whoa, what is happening? I felt like I didn't even know my own body that I was living in. I had something called hyperemesis gravidarum, which basically happens to about 1% of pregnant women. And I just explain it as morning sickness on steroids. So I had feeding tubes, PICC lines, just everything that the doctors could do to pretty much keep me alive and keep the baby alive. At one point, they gave me 24 hours to live, and it was just a crazy experience. I was, like I said, kind of always used to my body being an athlete, performing in the manner in which I wanted it to, and then to like have pregnancy just do a 180 on my body when I thought that pregnancy, I've heard about morning sickness, but I was like, whoa, no one prepares you for, what I went through with my body. And so I felt like I was just living, that my body was not working in the way I wanted it to. So, long story short, I did that 3 more times, had 3 more really rough pregnancies. Obviously I did not die. But
Thank
just
you.
really
Thank God.
challenging, and when you go through something physically challenging, it doesn't just affect your physical body, it also affects like your spiritual body, your emotional body. I was in the hospital all by myself. My husband was in the military, so we were moving all around. So I didn't have a support system. I mean, my family would come and visit and help when they could, but when you're living halfway around the world with complete strangers, you're whatever, so you're thrown into all
Yeah.
these situations where, I mean, honestly, I just didn't know what to do. I was in survival mode. And with my 4th pregnancy, when I found out I was pregnant, I was like, this is it. I can't handle this anymore. I'm like, just, I will try anything. And so my mom, who's a nurse, and my team of doctors from just all around that had saw me, I was like, I really want to try something different. I've already done all the antibiotics. Like I know what that gets me. Can we try something else? And so we came up with this protocol of just really watching what I put in and on my body. It was a very natural approach, and it sounds so simple now. I wish I would have done it, back with my first
Yeah.
pregnancy, but it was a complete 180. And I had a great pregnancy. I didn't have to go to the hospital. I was chasing, at that point, I had 3 kids under 4. So 3 kids under 4, and I was pregnant, and my husband was deployed, and I was like thriving in my eyes. I wasn't living in a hospital. I wasn't taking ambulance, I wasn't being carted off on ambulances. So, um, I was so proud of like myself and my body and where I was. And I was like, you know what? I just knew that God had given me this experience to help other women who maybe were struggling with their own bodies. And so knowing nothing about business, knowing nothing about how to do it, I was like, all right, I'll do it. I know that desperate feeling of just like wanting to find an answer and feeling stuck, not knowing where to turn. And there wasn't a brand at the time that was for women that she could trust with natural products to help her with her body. So I was like, yeah, so started the company right with my 4th pregnancy. And from there we've just continued to grow and help lots of women in just all different stages of life now. And it's, every day is a little bit crazier than the day before. I think that's a great question. I would say it's from the start first. Like it wasn't anything that I intentionally was like, all right, we're gonna, start doing this. Like it was without God, this wouldn't have even started. So it wasn't something that came out of like nowhere. It was just very organic of how it all happened. Like I knew God had called me to do this. And so I was, just every day trying to be faithful to what that looks like. And I try to be very authentic in who I am. And so I really, while I am on social media, I almost like hate watching it because I don't want to take away from my authenticity of me just doing how I would normally, just, it's not anything glamorous, like just walking through the warehouse and thinking about, just all the women that will be touched by the products, and whether it's, just for their, health benefits, or it's because they're really struggling with X, Y, or Z, it's amazing to see how God can use just something like this and do so much with it. And it's not about, like, I'm always like, it's not about our products at all. It's about him using these as a vehicle to be able to really help women and our job is to meet women where they are and provide them, just, I think, to meet them where they are. And so by providing them with like great products and services and really letting them feel valued and heard and understood by the company. So it's just having a lot of patience and prioritizing what matters most to you, and family comes first. And so that's, I'm not going to compromise that. I'm really big on like time, protecting my time, prioritizing my time. I know that my time with my kids is limited. I read something the other day that was like, you're going to spend more time with your kids as adults than you will and them as kids. And I was just like, oh my gosh, that just hit me so differently, because your time with them, when I say little, meaning little under our roof, is limited. And so I really prioritize that time. It's important to me. And so we do structure things a little differently. We are homeschooling the kids right now. We haven't always done that, but that's great because we're able to work in all the things we need to work into our days, my work, their sports, their schooling, in a way that makes sense for our schedule. And so that's really nice. We'll travel. I think we're traveling the next few weeks. We're going to be gone. Like, it's just, our schedules are a little wild. So I think it's finding what works for you and your family, and not comparing it to, the people you're seeing or what's happening next door, because that works for them. And you just kind of have to figure out what works for you. And I think it looks different for everyone. So really prioritizing my time. I say no pretty easily. So saying no to a lot of things is really important. But I would say for the most part, I don't know. I feel like I don't know what looks different about my life, other than, there's a lot of us, Maximilian having Down syndrome. That was another moment where I was like, oh my gosh, okay, God, I don't think I can do this. Like, not only do I have work and already 5 kids and a husband and dogs and pets and lives, now I have a kid with special needs. Like, where am I going to find this time that I don't already have to now take care of a kid with special needs? And it's it's amazing to see how God actually, he has given us so much more, Maximilian, than we like. I don't even think of it that way anymore. He is so much fun, and we're a growing company, a young family. So I can't do it all, and I know that. And if I do it all, then I'm gonna kind of cap at a certain point. I only have so many certain times and hours in the day. So yeah, I delegate. So we've got 3 teachers that come in and help with all the kids and do schooling. So and while I have it set up, they have offices, they have schoolrooms in our office. So we can all go in together. We leave together. They'll do school. Some of the older kids now can help with stuff too at work. So I've given them like some responsibilities just to learn. They're interested in different aspects of the business. So that's been really great. As far as our house goes, like finding help, like you have to be able to delegate. You have to say, hey, this person's going to own this part. That way I can then prioritize what matters most and where I feel like my time would best be spent. And that's obviously a personal preference. but I think you have to be able to do that to have so many moving pieces. Right, exactly. It's got to make financial sense too. So you have to kind of look at it from a financial standpoint. And even if you want to start small, like I remember when we moved to Florida and we set up headquarters, I was homeschooling then because one of my sons, he had Lyme's disease, and so he wasn't even able to go to school. And I was like, I can't do all this myself. So I had one teacher that came in for a few hours a day. And that's kind of how we started, was just a few hours. So even if it's just like an hour where you
Yeah.
can buy yourself some time to be
Yeah.
able to focus, and then really use that time to focus on the thing that you think is going to bring your business like the biggest impact. So, for me, that was kind of focusing on like those big picture relationships and making sure that we were, in conversation with those big retailers that would really help us grow nationally.
Yeah.
And so I think you just have to be, and it's always changing too. Like now I don't do as much as that. Now I'm focusing on some other things, but that's the other thing too, is being really flexible, which I think moms are so great at. That's why I think moms
Right?
are phenomenal business women, because they know how to multitask, they know how to prioritize, they know how to be flexible, they know how to adapt, they know how to prioritize. Like, give me moms all day long because they know how to get it done. I would say prioritize. So maybe like write a list down of all the things that you do throughout a day. Maybe take a week and just like write down what are all the things you did each day of the week, and then go back and look at it and say, okay, pick 3. You can only do 3 of those things. What are going to be those 3 things that you can focus on, and let everything else go? And I think that is one thing where people have a hard time doing, is like, it's okay if you don't have the laundry room clean. It's okay if you don't have the perfect homemade meals. Like I'm just making this stuff up. Whatever's important to you, maybe those are important. I mean, I'm not saying they're not important. I have to do laundry too. But the 3 most important things that you feel like are going to bring the most value to your business, focus on those and let everything else fall. And then start doing that week over week. And I think you'll see growth. I think you'll see things start to fall into line. You'll see also fires just burn out. I call problems fires. So like you'll kind of see some fires just fade on their own, and they didn't even really need your attention. So why? It just kind of figured itself out. So don't, we only have a limited amount of time and energy. So really focusing on those 3 things, prioritizing what you feel like is going to be the most valuable use of your time for the biggest impact.
Okay. So if everybody can mute, I believe that was covered in the chat. That was Amy Suzanne Upchurch, as you guys know, from Pink Store. She is so incredibly inspiring. I hope to have her in some of our coaching sessions moving forward, because she just really is somebody that I truly admire and aspire to be like. She is very calm. Everything that she seems to do is very authentic. Everything is prayed over. She's a faith-based business. That was something that we got into. If you want to see more, we have our Good Morning Mama podcast that we released with her for the full episode. But these were like the high tidbits of her like business information. So with that, I wanted to kind of just dive in, and we were going to be having All In Nutritionals. They are our partner in Abundant Health. And they are an affiliate program that we work with. They were going to be in attendance. Unfortunately, something came up, but I'm going to speak a little bit about affiliate marketing. As we all know, is another revenue stream for moms, especially moms with social media followings, or if you're using something that you already like using, then you can just talk about it and talk about it pretty naturally. So one of the programs that we work with very closely, like I said, is All In Nutritionals. And the reason why I like them is they're a food-based business, but they are faith-based, and they're very authentic in their approach. I can put some stuff in the chat about what like their affiliate program is like, but I just want to kind of breeze through it. The reason why I'm even bringing this up is when we get into our digital products and our monetization of social media, it's always really critically important for us to bake in affiliate links or different companies that you're working with into your email marketing, into your digital products. Like if you're working on like Pamela, I know she's working on a cookbook. I know Amanda Sellers has a cookbook. I know we do like some recipes. There's different things that you can do to help you work smarter. And one thing at Abundant Management that we really started focusing on is we only partner with core products, hero products that we vetted and are tried and true. So they need to be ethical, they need to be faith-based, they need to be typically women-owned, and like products that we actually like and use because it makes it easier for us to talk about them. So I actually have a pantry full of all the nutritionals. I actually have Lino Cosmetics in my bathroom that I actually use. It's Samia Petalino, who you'll get to know later, started the skincare line. All of our experts actually use all the nutritionals as well. So we love that. There's an affiliate program. They pay like 30% commissions. The only reason why I bring that up is not to sell you the products, but to explain that you can create like an Amazon affiliate program too. Amazon has great affiliate programs in your social media marketing, for you to bake into your content. Alexia, do you want to speak to that for a little bit?
I totally can. Yeah. So
Okay.
affiliate marketing is a revenue stream. So when I think about my business, I think about always layering in multiple revenue streams that help me to create a robust brand. So we don't want to just have one revenue stream, although it's a great place to start. We want to think, how can I diversify my income, right? And if we can diversify the income with different streams, affiliate being one of them, it just helps you to increase your bottom line, you know, at the end of the month. And that's really what it's all about, giving people different ways that they can connect with you, number one, but also, you know, you're earning off of the brand that you're building. And it's so easy to do. And so I think that's why we really wanted to drive home affiliates today. And as Chelsea said, you know, all nutritionals, that's definitely one of my affiliates that I use. My kids love their products. If everybody knows, I'm a crunchy mama, okay? I don't, if it has chemicals in it, it ain't going in my body. So, I mean, unless, you know, it's pizza every once in a while, like I have a hard time saying no to that. Like it's just, but you know what I'm saying, right? We want these products to be good. So pick products that really align with your heart, your soul. You use them every day already, so why not make that part of your sharing mechanism? And so, we can bake it in, as Chelsea's saying. So how do you bake it in? Well, I'll give you an example. So if you get a digital product from me, I have baked in probably 5 different affiliate links within that digital product. So I earn commissions every single month off of every person that has decided to download my lead magnet and said, man, I want to start a business. And they're like, oh, she's using Stand Store. Like, I'm going to get a Stand Store. So they do. So I earn $10 a month, or it's $6 a month, $6 a month of every single person that downloaded my lead magnet and decided they wanted to use Stand Store. Now, when you pair that with a viral brand strategy, which is, we all know I love that, think about it in numbers, okay? So you can bake these things in. So that's just one way. With All In Nutritionals or something, a product, we bake them in through things like a newsletter. We bake them in through, I mean, we can even get as strategic as Pinterest, but I'm not going to get into that because I think Shannon's going to talk about that and I'm not the expert. But I want to be really good at it. I'm going to take notes today when she's talking. But even in our email marketing, right? We bake in these things where we're talking about our life, things that are going on, and we can bake these right into the emails that we send out. So when people click on them and they want to learn about, like, hey, Alexia was talking about how she's really focusing on her health. You know, as an entrepreneur who has small kids, she's got to have the energy to get going. And maybe I shared a story in one of my emails, right? Well, I'm probably going to say, hey, I start with a protein shake every morning. Well, you better believe I want to share that with you because you're probably going to ask me anyway, right? So we bake it right in so people can connect. The days of hard selling or sending hey girl messages in your DM are gone. So if we can share the products that we know, love, and trust in our everyday sharing, why not, right? Stories is another great way for us to bake in those affiliate products. Anytime like I'm showing something, if I'm making like sometimes if I'm making a protein shake, I'll put something cute as a hook even in my stories, and then people will naturally just kind of want to click in to see what the heck I'm talking about. And you would be so surprised with how many people click and then just purchase because they just already have that relationship and that trust with you. So they're like, hey, I'm going to give that protein shake a try, right? So that's where something like All Nutritionals can be awesome. But there's so many different kinds of affiliates out there. So what I would suggest to you is start making a list of all the products that you know, love, and trust right now, things you do every single day, right? That's part of your routine. And let's talk about how you can work that in as part of your professional and personal brand that you're building online, right? And just kind of share from our heart. You know, one of our other products is Lino Cosmetics. And so every morning, you know, I'm putting that cream on my face. And so I just started using it, by the way, and it's really lovely. So you'll start seeing that pop up, you know, in my stories and everything. But it's just so easy to share, and it doesn't have to feel icky. It just comes from a place of, I am sharing. This is part of creating that social, I even like to call it like a sticky brand. Like people just want to know what you're doing because, you know, you're showing up in that authenticity. I think I kind of hit it, Chelsea. Is there anything I kind of missed out?
Yes, I am so sorry. I'm figuring out a scheduling conflict. It looks like the wrong time was sent to Phil and he's going to miss his flight by me. So I apologize. So yes, but yes, you fully did get that. I think that baking all of those into the digital products is extremely important. And yeah.
Yeah. And so one of the reasons I think we should probably talk about it is like that we're bringing up, we wanted All Nutritionals to speak because they have some great, like the founders, we had the chance to talk with them actually on a podcast recently, and they gave us their whole story of how they built their business and you know, the challenges that they went through, but really, you know, in them building their business was a self-discovery of their own healing. And so their products was a result of that. And I think for all of us, and I think just to kind of share a little bit about how you can leverage that concept in your own branding, you know, if you can think of any trauma that you've gone through or pain that you've gone through, and you've grown through, like that can become a basis for your product. And honestly, I feel like that's what All Nutritionals has done. And they've done it very successfully because it's just a beautiful product that they've put together, and it's healed them in many ways.
Yeah, like, so we did a podcast and we were interviewing them. Sorry, we freed up a little bit of time, but I know that Phoebe's going to be coming on in 3 minutes, and then we can get back to this. The thing that's incredible about All In Nutritionals and even Lino Cosmetics or Kai and Cash or really any of the hero products that we work with, and I think one of my biggest tenets in business and all of our experts is ensuring that you have a mission-based business that actually really resonates with your audience. That's your target audience. But if you're talking about the mission and your core focus, and you're continually kind of knocking that door down on attacking that core mission, I think that you're always going to be successful at some point, right? So if you're continuing down that path of mission work, and I think All In Nutritionals' greatest asset has been that they want to, like a lot of our hero products, Lino Cosmetics, you know, they give 15%, Kai and Cash gives 30%. We just want moms to succeed, and we want people to be healthy, and we want people to holistically be healthy and happy. And I think that speaks to Phoebe Dupre is here with us, and her mission or her start was she was a single mom. That I think you were working a minimum wage job as like you were a bartender or something at a golf course. Is that right? And you started a merchant service business that has grown into $1 million business, which is so incredibly insane. And you helped so many small businesses save on merchant service fees. You've partnered with Bradley. You teach other people how to do exactly what you're doing. You have an affiliate program and an agent program, but I'm so curious to hear, like, when we talk about our mission-based businesses, I mean, you really are saving people money, but you're also really helping people create their businesses and replace their 9-to-5 income. So it's incredible. And I think that you are just so inspiring and interesting. And I love your story about homeschooling your children while working and balancing it. And the biggest statement that I've heard Phoebe say is my children aren't my excuse, they're my reason. And she shows up every day, and it's incredible. It gives me the chills to think about. Hi, this is Phoebe.
Thank you. All right, well, that was a really nice intro. I appreciate being here and being in front of all of you today. I think that this is such a great platform for women because, I'm thankful for where I am today, but there was once upon a time where I had no community, no guidance. I'll talk about this a little bit coming up, but I had kids very young, and what it did was really like exclude me. Hang on, I think I have to, I just want to pull my, there we go. I feel like I got shut out from a lot of people, and I was just like a mom that was in survival mode and trying to take care of my kids every day. And I don't know if any of you moms, I still kind of feel like that as a mom and a business owner, where I feel like really isolated. But it took a lot to pull me out of that position and to get me where I am now, which live a great life, and I'm very happy now. So I'm going to get into it a little bit with you today. But I think, I want everyone to understand is, I used to think that people who were winning had something different than I did, that they had more capabilities, that they had some talent or skills or something that I was lacking. And that's why my family, like, my parents, my aunts, my uncles, I thought that we were coming from lack. And what I realized is that we really just didn't have the right information, and we really just didn't practice the right, like, skill sets and the right habits. And that's why, so I created Real Merchant Services. Let me hang on. I jumped around a little bit because of your intro.
I'm sorry.
Okay. No. Guys, I naturally, like, I love business. I love doing these things, but I feel like I'm naturally a terrible speaker. I feel like I say it every time I get started talking. It's not something that's comfortable for me. But I really appreciate being here because what we do really changes a lot of lives. But I just want you to know that, like, my story is not unique. And I don't think it's special. Everyone always says, like, what you do is really special, but I think everyone is capable of doing what I did. And it just is a matter of putting in enough hours and effort into the same, like, skill set over and over and over until you become an expert. I feel like I've lived two different lives. I'm 35, and I feel like I have, like, an old life that was like my past life, and then I have my new life. And so I call it, like, before financial freedom and then after financial freedom. And before financial freedom, my life was just like, growing up and becoming a young mom. It's just filled with, like, poverty and stress and trauma and, being stuck in survival mode. I was making decisions that were solely based on, other people's agendas and resources and, what I thought other people could help me with or do for me. And I don't know if any of you relate to that, but it's always like, well, I don't want that person to watch my kids, but I can't afford a more expensive nanny, or I don't want my mom to be, a babysitter 4 days a week because, it's traumatic for me, but I can't afford any other options. So when you don't have, like, absolute financial freedom, and by that, I mean, all of your bills are paid, you have you have money in the bank so that you have, like, a emergency fund, right? Like, you don't have to worry about where your money is coming from. And I'm not talking about being, like, super rich, but, like, oh, I want to, redo my office, and I want to spend $3,000 on office furniture. I can do that and not think twice. I don't have to look at price tags of normal items. I can go and buy whatever groceries I want, and I don't have to budget. I know that, I can buy a new car, like, my electricity bill is paid. All of those things are taken care of, and you don't feel any stress about it. Like, it's like, it's just such a relieving feeling. And so, in my past, whether it was, like I said, my boyfriend, my boss, my parents, I just didn't have control of my life. And because of that, I when you're in survival mode, like you just don't recognize and you don't have clarity in your life like you do when you have your finances in line. And so because of that, I ended up in multiple abusive relationships. I've been, part of domestic violence, and very close to having my kids and my life just completely spiral out of control. And I only have a few minutes with you today, so I'm not going to really get into that. I've talked about it on other podcasts before. Um, but now I'm living what's called like my second life, and that's after financial freedom. And when I look back, like, 10 years ago, just how I operated and the decisions I made, it's like it's almost like I'm so disconnected from that part of me, and which I want for a lot of people, because it's like all of you guys can relate. Like everyone here that loves their children, it's like you look at people that say like, "Oh, I don't want children." And you're like, "How could you not want children? Like it unlocks this like supernatural portal to life, and like how could you not want to experience that? Like you can't go back to not having kids and unliving those feelings once you've had them." And that's how it feels for me as well. Like my kids are a greater feeling, obviously, but with financial freedom, it's like once you have it, once you don't have a boss, once you don't have to answer to someone, once you don't have any worry about where your money's coming from or what you want to buy, it is this experience where you're like, I could never go back. I can't imagine going to a job. I can't imagine having a boss. I can't imagine answering to someone. And so that's where I'm at now. And I feel that if every woman on earth, especially women, because, the things that I've seen in life are just there's like trauma and abuse and like all of these terrible things that can happen to us as women, because our number one priority is taking care of our kids. And that, will come second to, I would say, making the best decisions, especially when it comes down to finances. I know like some of my friends are like, "Oh, well, I want to break up with this guy, or I want to break up with my husband, but," and it's always like they pay for the mortgage, they pay for the food. Who would watch my kids? There's all of these things. So if women can either work from where they're at now or get it set up like I'm talking about before they have kids, I think everyone will just have like an amazing and such a better life. So that's why I'm so passionate about merchant services and our company, Real Merchant Services, because our mission is to help people, and for me, especially moms, to achieve financial freedom through residual income. And by residual income, I mean receiving deposits in your bank account month after month for work that you did previously. Okay. I've been in the industry for about a decade. And several years ago, I teamed up with Bradley, which I'm sure you're all aware of, but a wildly successful entrepreneur, great guy, great family guy, like love his wife. And so it's just an incredible opportunity that I get to work with him, and then teamed up with, my skills that I have to bring to the table. And we put together our team to be able to deliver moms like you an opportunity to really earn residual income and change your life. I think a lot of careers offer like opportunities for money, like nursing, but they require a lot of sacrifice from your time, your freedom, your presence in your children. They require you to be outside of the house. And with Real Merchant Services, you don't have to choose between like your presence and your finances, right? You can still build wealth and then be the mom that your kids need. And so I just want to backtrack a little bit. Like, my life started off pretty rocky, but it's just proof that anyone can be successful with the right support and training behind them. I ended up a high school dropout, and I was a teen single mom of two. I worked two jobs for years. Since I had my kids at 18 and 19, I was working two jobs every day. I rarely had a day off. I was just living paycheck to paycheck. And just to give you an idea of how poor I was, like I raised my kids in a Honda Accord that was about 20 years old. And it was so old that it looked like it was matte painted because all of the paint had completely worn off of it. So it was like not shiny anymore. And the windshield wipers in that car, they didn't work. They only worked if I turned on the windshield wipers from a fuse. Like, I don't even know if you guys know this, but there's, in at least in older cars, a fuse box by the brake pedal. And so when I was like 9 months pregnant with my second kid, I learned how to take my foot and like just tap the fuse in enough so that my windshield wipers would turn on.
That sounds like how I grew up with my mom. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's why I started Abundant Academy, is because I grew up with a single mom. We had to put like quarters in our gas tank, like dent cans to get canned food. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's
So
amazing.
like, it's just like that car. And then I also learned from that car, which I don't think anyone should actually know this besides a mechanic, but like tires have wires in them. And like I didn't know that until my tires were so bald that like all of the wires were showing and, you know, coming out of the car. And I remember I had my kids at dropping my daughter off to preschool, and this guy walked by me and he was like, "Hey, you know, your tires are going to explode. Like the wire is showing in them." And I'm like, "There's wire in rubber tires?" I'm like, "What?" And I looked and all the wire was exposed around my tires because I didn't have enough money to get new tires or to even get my car maintenance. So, um, I'm mildly grateful for that point in my life because it's built this, you know, urgency in me to get out of that place and provide a better life for my kids and work my way out of it. Um, and so at that point, life was very just like busy and stressful, like I said. But at 27 years old, I got the opportunity to join merchant services. Um, and with my first two kids, like I had worked overnight shifts. I worked at a casino. I was working over 60 hours a week. Most of their early years were spent with like other caregivers, family, and I just wasn't raising my kids. Like I provided for them and I did what I had to do. And I, you know, I hope that my kids respect me for that. But like I wasn't, if I'm, you know, being completely transparent, and I hate to say this, but like I wasn't raising them, someone else was. So today, my life looks completely different. I have a new baby. Well, he's 19 months old. I'm home with him every day. We have a nanny who's here at my house. We live on a 7-acre farm. We co-sleep. I'm still breastfeeding him at 19 months. And he just gets a completely different mom experience, right, than my first two. And that's what I want for all moms, is to have the experience that I have now. Like it's heartbreaking when moms say like, "Oh, I can't breastfeed anymore because I have to go back to work. My milk supply is drying up." Like all of these things that moms experience. Like I'm breastfeeding my son at 19 months old. I don't know anyone. I have no one to relate to that's within my immediate circle that's still breastfeeding that long. And it's because everyone has to go back to work. Like I couldn't do that either, right? Years ago with my first two. And so it's just, having financial freedom just opens up all of these portals that you don't even think about because you're so consumed with just providing and like being in the everyday grind. Um, so I'm going to get into a little bit exactly, you know, what we do. It's very simple. You can come on our team and you create your own business. Okay. So you're a 1099 agent and we help businesses accept credit and debit card payments. So if it's in person, online, on the go payments, every business pays around 3% to process credit cards at their business. And our company steps in and we help them get lower rates and then provide payment processing solutions. And then, you know, we're helping them save on their bottom line and helping them thrive. And our agents' role are to help businesses find client or to help businesses sign up, right? So go out, get to know business owners, provide savings, provide a better solution. Everyone on our back office team does like majority of the work. This is not like, you know, you have to build your own support system, but they're going out and finding new clients, creating relationships. An average client will pay you around $250 per month. But depending on the size of the business, like we had a girl come in and she signed up her mother-in-law's business and her first account paid her $850 per month. And so that's like 10K a year off one client. So we say you're building your business brick by brick. Like even if a business only pays you $80 a month, that's $1,000 into your salary at the end of the year. So you can make as much as you want because you just keep building, you know, the businesses slowly. And then one day you look down and you have a $25,000 a month residual income. You don't need any prior experience to get started. So we provide full training and mentorship. All you need is a smartphone, a computer, and then the willingness to go out and work and be coachable. You just have to go out and connect with businesses that are in your local community. There's no inventory to manage. You don't have to build a team. You can be successful just being a single agent. No one has to be underneath you. Again, this is not, it's different than an MLM model. Like we do have agents, but you know, there's only so many layers that can go. You just have to be good at helping people. Like at the end of the day, you're not selling anything. What you're doing is going in, offering a better solution and offering savings. So it's really easy to make it make sense for someone because you're not asking them to spend any money. I think that what I've learned is that a lot of moms, like me once upon a time, they carry a limiting belief that when it comes to building generational wealth, that it's out of reach, or you have to have like a corporate title or go to college. And as proved, on this Zoom call, after me, it just proved untrue. I've like personally remapped our family's financial path with this industry. And I just want to give you a quick example of what I mean, because these are things that I just simply didn't think of. Um, this year, like I gifted my son $18,000 into his brokerage account. I just plopped the money in there. And when you do the math, when he's 50 years old, that 18K will turn into $1.3 million. So like something so simple like that, like I remember I never had over, like I remember saving up $5,000 as a single mom and thinking I was so rich. I literally went to a bank and asked a financial wealth advisor what I could do with my money. And looking back on that, it's like almost like laughable, because I'm like, I just didn't know what having money was. I thought having $5,000 was like, was getting there. And now looking back at just like kind of laugh at that. That guy was probably like, oh, this poor little 24-year-old mom, she has no clue. Um, but yeah, so like just being able to say, like, my children will be millionaires in their adulthood, and I can do that for them and not even think about it. Like I can just plop 18 grand into their account every year as a gift, and they're going to be multimillionaires when they're older. Like those are things that you don't think of when you're in survival mode, and you don't even think are possible, right? Like I like I said, I just couldn't even imagine. So the reason why I think this opportunity is perfect for moms is because you have the flexibility. Listen, it is work. It's not like you go online, you say, I do merchant services, and everyone's coming at you and saying yes. Like it is absolute work. But you have the flexibility. Like one of the reasons I got into this business was because I had asked, like back when I was a single mom, I had asked the bar I was bartending at if I could take my lunchtime off, which was dead in the winter, and go see my daughter's chorus concert. And he like laughed at me and said no. And I worked there like 6 days a week. I never called out. Like I thought I was owed an hour. And he said no. And I was like, this is just so disgusting that my daughter's going to go up on stage and sing, and like no one's going to be there for her. And I have some like man just telling me, after I've shown up to him for the last 5 years, just telling me no to go take an hour break during my lunch break when it was going to be dead anyways. So back to what I was saying, you can build this business. It's a sellable book of business. So let's say you have 100 clients and you're receiving $30,000 a month worth of residual income. You can sell this to an interested buyer for around $1 million. So not only is it monthly residual income, but it's an actual sellable asset. And so that comes into play when you start making money, and then you say, oh, I want to get into real estate investing. I want to start Airbnbs. I want to, create multiple income streams. You can actually sell a portion of your asset to do so. All of you on this call, and like anyone you might know, you already have an incredible network in place that I think that you don't even think that, you can extract some value out of. So you have to think families that are in the PTA that you attend, your kids' sports teams, they're all either business owners or connected to businesses. Like your friend's husband works at a business, right? Like everyone works at a business. Everyone works somewhere that accepts payments. So there's so many people that you can ask about payment processing and ask to help them. Even like I have a partnership with my son's baseball team. When they put like all the banners that are around the baseball field of all of the businesses, like you can go out and ask all of those people to work with you for payment processing, and then you can donate a portion of your processing fees back to the Little League, right? So there's multiple ways you can work this business. That includes, with your church. You can always, anyone who signs up through your church, you can donate back to the church through the processing fees. So you guys can go and like create your own network of referral partners, and then just use everyone around you that's like your uncle, your friends, like whoever. Like everyone has a business or works at a business. So there's so many more leads available than you think. We provide all of the onboarding and training to show you exactly how to approach businesses, understand their needs, present solutions, and then get deals across the finish line. I help agents sell their first 10 deals. So I get on Zoom calls and close the deals for you. So you can watch deals being closed in live time and learn. It's not like we say like, hey, here's a binder, go do it yourself. And then we also have 1 to 2 calls a week that are training with Brad and I and all the other agents on the team, where we learn together, learn about equipment, things like that. There's no sales quotas, and you start earning income with your very first client. So I don't know if I can share my screen really quick. Hang on. There's a lot more information about our company. Hang on, let me see if I can share. Okay, so if you go to our website, a lot of what I just talked about is already on here, and I don't want to bore you with all the details, but you'll see on here. We have a YouTube video of Dan. He actually just hit his first 20K month this month with our company, all in residual income. And then stuff about, Brad and I as your coach. This is a little snippet of our lives. So we have the industry's only virtual training platform, built on Bradley's platform. So that shows you what the training actually looks like, your video training platform, everything that you get when you join. You get your own CRM to manage all of your leads. And then here's like screenshots of some of our agents, like recurring residual income that they're earning each and every month. And then some testimonials from like she's a mom, testimonials from some of our agents, and all of the FAQs if you guys have questions. And then there's the opportunity to book a call with our sales team if you guys are interested in joining. And I can throw those links in the chat after below too. And then just the second thing is that if anyone does have a business on here and you guys want to save money on your processing fees or want to get started, if you just head to our website, there's a quick form to fill out, and then someone from our team will reach out to you. But yeah, does anyone have any questions or, anything for me? I'm going to look at some of these comments.
Kels, maybe you can explain like the portion that's inside of Abundant Money. There's been a couple questions in the chat around, I don't know if that helps. Oh, you're on mute.
Yeah, so we put the link in there for them to get referred, and there'll be some training videos uploaded into Abundant Academy at a later time as a part of Abundant Money. But the links are right there for realmerchantservices.com, and just let them know that you came from the Abundant Mom Workshop.
Yeah. And guys, this is like just for reference on how this works is like the average deal pays $250 a month. So we like to tell our agents to go in and say like, how much money would it cost me to have all of my bills paid, right? Take that number and then divide it by 250. And that's essentially, right, a good guess of how many accounts you would need to have financial freedom. A lot of people, when I first started, I used to say if I could get $3,000 a month coming in, that I would have, like, my mortgage was $935 at the time. I didn't have a car payment, but so like that would cover my bills. That allowed me to quit job number 1. I still work job number 2 while earning that money, but there's steps that you can take. And even if some of you guys are on this call, a lot of girls, like we have a girl, Amber, on our team, she's working. She thought her husband would be good at this job at first, but now she let her husband do his job. And like her goal is to retire her husband. And so you guys can come in, and it just starts off very small, a couple $100s here and there. But agents who are closing only 4 deals a month, after 1 year, they should have about $10,000 a month in residual income. And as you grow your business, it's the easier it gets, the more referrals you get, and you should be able to build your income $10,000 per month, like each year. So at the end of year 1, you should be at 10,000. At the end of year 2, you should be at 20,000. 5 years into this business, I was making $1 million a year. So in residual income, you just have to,
That's amazing. I think people are asking how much time commitment it takes per client to manage on average.
Yeah, so it's hard to say like the time commitment per client. Like, let's say, imagine I reach out to Chelsea and I say, hey, you have this e-commerce account. Do you want to see if I can process your payment? She's like, yeah, sure. Everything, we hop on a quick demo. I show her how we can connect to her payments platform. I say we can save her money. The approval takes about 24 hours, and then we schedule an install, which normally takes, I would say, 20 minutes to, if you're doing a full point of sale install, it could take an hour. So after the install, you do have to maintain relationships with your clients, which is in your best interest, right? Because they'll give you referrals and then of course sign up more businesses with you. But the individual business, like the process of getting them signed up is very minimal. I would say 3 hours or under. The only hard part is actually, you know, going out, finding leads. And I say hard, but it really depends on, you know, who you are. Like one of you on this call, let's say, for example, your husband is does small business insurance, right? That's an entire lead source. Let's say if one of your husbands is in commercial real estate or one of you guys is in commercial real estate, like that's an entire lead source of businesses. So it really depends how hard or how easy it is in the beginning. I would say on your network, but just know, like I started with absolutely no network. Like I said, I had my kids at 18 and 19. It really like shut me out from my friends at that point, and all I did was work. So I would try to get leads from the casino where I worked, try to get them from the golf course, but I worked every single day and like had no friends or family that had, you know, any businesses or money or anywhere that I could start. So I started from 100% a cold market, just like walking into businesses and then, you know, building my Instagram and my online presence. Let me just look at the chat really quick. Yeah, guys, you can share this with your husbands too. I just say that what I've seen, husband and wife teams are really effective in sales. I don't know if you guys have ever been sold to by a husband and wife, but whenever you go into I would say a business deal, I really like the dynamic of a man and a woman in the room. I think it just like lightens things. And like I said, the girl is always like the nurturing, caring person. And typically what I've seen, well, I don't want to say this to discourage you, but like I've seen a lot of husbands get into this business and then their wives become like the support, the admin, the person who's at home, the person who's filing the paperwork. So like the husband is out and they're on the road, like killing it, going to networking events, and the mom wants to be home with the kids, but the husband calls her and says, "Hey, can you send out an application for XYZ business?" I mean, I'm the exact opposite story as that. Like with me and my fiance, I'm the one who's going out and getting stuff. And like he kind of does a lot of the admin work, or did for a while, just because I had a bigger network when we started. But you can really build this business, I mean, any way you want. Yeah, if you have a husband, I'm looking at this, Natalia, if your husband like knows everyone in town, that's the ideal person. Like if you guys are like the loved or known family, or you have just a lot of people and they're like big talkers, those people have a lot of success in this industry. You said my husband will be in the background. Okay, that's funny. Do a lot of agents use social media to get their leads? I say social media is how do I phrase this? It's not that you post on social media and it's like, you ever see that meme with all like the hot dogs coming at you? It's not like you like post a reel and then like there's hot dogs flying at you, right? Like that's not really what this business is built for. I like to tell like moms, especially, like I'll use Amber, who's on our team for an example. She's stays at home with her kids. She has 4 kids and she homeschools them, and her husband works. But what she does is she goes to BNI meetings and Chamber of Commerce meetings, because you go to one Chamber of Commerce meeting and you can network with 50 people at a time. So like she's been really big into networking events and found a lot of success into that. The reason why social media is so important, and you know, when you're setting up a brand for yourself, is that later in your career, or when people are looking to validate you, you know, anyone who has consistent posting and professional posting on social media, you go to their platform, like you look at Alexia's social media and you're like, yes, this girl's legit. You look at Chelsea's social media and you're like, yes, this girl's legit. So it gives them like an instant trust transfer. And you guys know, like, if you like, you're like, oh, my kids are going to go to their friend's house, let me like research their parent on social media and make sure they're not weirdos, right? Like, and so people do the same thing. Like you meet someone, you drop off a PDF, you do something, you're like, oh, I can help you with your payment processing. Like they're going to look at you online and see what you do. Like if there's no social proof of you helping people, you're just less likely to earn their trust instantly. Not saying that you can't, but like it's just such a trust builder. And then later, as your career matures and you're trying to build a team, and it also helps you for team building because they can see a path of consistency and professionalism and wins, and people just naturally want to be a part of that, and whether it's, being on your team or boarding a business with you. So social media is really important, but I don't want to be misleading and say that that's going to be your main lead source. Your main lead source is going to be the people helping people, taking care of them, and then having that ripple effect going out as you're going out and asking people for their business. I got fitted for a wedding dress yesterday, and I'm getting the lady's merchant statement because I know the company that she's with just increased their fees. I told her that. It was like this little old Italian lady, super cute. And like as I'm paying, I just talked to her about her processing and she's sending me over her statement. So it's, you don't have to go out and like specifically work certain hours. It's just being able to communicate with people how and why they should, give you a copy of their merchant statement and let you review their processing account.
That's awesome. I always love listening to you talk, and I love learning about your business because I see myself in you and I see moms in you, and you represent us really well. And we know that success is attainable through some hard work and strategic systems. So I really appreciate all of your time and wisdom and knowledge that you've shared with us. And I hope, do any moms have any additional questions? We do have a lot of resources, and of course, Phoebe's super accessible through us. So you're a part of the Abundant Academy, you will get access to Phoebe and Real Merchant Services easily. So I'm going to breeze through our Shopify building out really quickly. Shopify, can we use Real Merchant Services? Probably not, right? Processing online because it goes through Stripe. No.
Well, so you can. Shopify makes it difficult to process outside of Stripe. So there's certain situations where you can. It really depends on volume of the business, things like that. But Shopify will charge you extra fees to process outside of it. So normally we can match your rate or bring it like a little bit lower. But if you look at their plans, you'll see it now. Like when you bring up your plan, it says like they charge, I think like it depends on the plan you're on, but like staggered amounts to process with someone who's not Stripe or Shop Payments.
Okay. That's good to know. We'll have to figure that out. Okay. Yes, this is Jody. This is recorded. This will be available. Even my very fumbly beginning. This will be available on YouTube. And in our Abundant Money portal. So I'm going to give everybody my book. It's called the Mom Business Blueprint. I have a course in Abundant Money on that as well. And it teaches you how to start your Shopify store to go from 0 to 60K with $35 really. It was the Shopify fees that I started this. I started my Shopify business. I started on Etsy, and it actually came from when my 6-week-old son had a medical emergency, and he was airlifted from Vero Beach to Orlando, which is a 2-hour drive. And he was bleeding. He hit cardiac arrest levels. It was really, 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 it was a very scary time. And it was a major time to lean into faith. And on that, when I had arrived to the hospital to meet him at the second hospital, because they wouldn't let me go on a helicopter, I was greeted. He was in perfectly good health, but we had to stay overnight. And so I was so thankful that my husband, talk about financial freedom, my husband was a fantastic provider. I didn't have to worry about anything when it came to our financial situation or medical costs or anything like that. But I shared a hospital room with a couple that wasn't so fortunate, and they were 19. Talk about a young couple that just had a baby. Their child was in the hospital, and it was just so overwhelming to sit with them that I said, okay, we have to do something, because at the worst time of their life, no young couple or mom or parent should have to endure not only the overwhelm and triumph of like in struggle of this medical emergency, but then to have to worry about finances and going back and forth to a minimum wage job. Like, what in the world are we doing here? So I started Kaya and Cash. We give back 10 to 30% of our profits to nonprofit children-focused organizations like St. Jude and Compassion International. We hit our 60K month or 60K year last year, within 8 months of starting, and I was able to learn quite a few things about our Shopify, about Shopify and automating, because I started it while I was pregnant and it was just like, it's like a whim. I would just like Googled it. I was like, hey, I want to start a business that gives back and is social impact focused. And I did. And so I recorded all of the different steps on what I took to actually get there. And I wouldn't say it's easy. It was a lot of late nights, but through automation tools that Alexia and I are going to talk about, and through hard work, we were able to hit some really amazing levels. Now, in my book that I'm dropping in right here, I go through and explain, like, Shopify itself is very intuitive. I like to use Appleek and different resources for drop shipping your products or it's called print on demand. So you don't have to hold any inventory, and you can just go from distributor to consumer. And it's been a really great experience. So I'm going to breeze through that. I don't know if anybody has any major interest in learning about their Shopify build out. If you do, you can read my book or we can talk offline. The name of the game today is automation and our business bot. We talked about that a lot yesterday in our coaching call. And I think that a lot of moms will benefit from learning how to automate their business through AI. I'm going to let Alexia speak to that for a minute while I drop some things in the chat and we can talk back and forth. And then I want to hear from some of our moms in the Abundant Academy program. So Alexia, can you talk to our business bot for a minute?
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, I'm not sure how many people from our coaching call earlier this week that joined are here today. I definitely see a lot of familiar faces. But one of the things we wanted to make sure that we drove home today was, how are we leveraging AI to support the infrastructure of our businesses so it actually can run on autopilot and or do the work of what I like to say 10 people, so we can get back to those moments as a mother and go back to those things that we do every single day that consumes us, right? So we need to be able to work smarter, not harder. And so I think a lot of us have probably seen online, at least I know I do. I send a lot of stuff to Chelsea about, oh, look what this person's doing and this person's doing. And I said, we definitely need to make bots available to our academy and to our community. And you're probably thinking, well, what the heck is a bot? And so if you have been with us on this journey of going to our weekly calls, I know that you already know. But if you don't know, essentially, Chelsea and myself, we use AI as the foundation and crux of our business. So yes, it does the work of 10 people, but it does some very specific things for us. For example, it builds out content for us every single day. It does our email sequences. It drafts direct responses to people that we need to communicate with. Sometimes it's for brand collaborations. Sometimes it's for just certain partnerships. Sometimes it's correspondence between Chelsea and myself, there's a lot of things.
Sometimes it's a text to my husband. No, I'm just kidding.
Right. So these activities that we do every single day, they take time. They take a lot of time. And if you add it up throughout the day, you're like, wow, that's like hours of work every single day. But what if you had an AI component that knew every aspect of your business, right? It knew not only your mission, vision, and values, but it knew your digital products. It knew your brand voice, exactly what your brand story is. So you've heard a lot of brand stories. Today you heard Amy Upchurch, you heard Phoebe's story, you've heard Chelsea's story and how she started Kaya and Cash, right? These are brand stories. What if it knew all the background information about you? And then it could use it to help you create certain pillars within your business every single day. So if you were just to feed it a prompt, it would spit out the correct information to you. Because as we all know, what we feed AI is the result we get back. So if we feed it crapola, we get crapola back. But what if we were intentional and we built a mechanism out, okay? We programmed it essentially, and it worked in collaboration with something like ChatGPT. So it knew our business inside and out. So when we asked it to build an email sequence, we don't have to tell it to make sure it's building it. Oh, make sure you use these kinds of words when you build it out. We don't have to give it so much information. You know why? Because it already has it. We did it once, and then we can use it forever. And so that's essentially what a business bot is. It's programming information to be then leveraged and used inside of your ChatGPT. So when you have all of these daily things that you have to do with a simple command, it will spit back the right information. I literally did a post this morning or a story this morning, and I was like, as I'm playing with my children, guess what's happening? A whole entire email sequence is being built out for me, and I'm not doing a thing. One simple command, but the only reason it's good information is because I programmed a bot. So with Chelsea,
the only way that you can really like leverage all of these different resources and different sources of income is through automating a lot of our business, right? Yes. So yes, that's like the only way. And I know that people, we just gave you like the business bot information, are all the giveaways in Abundant Money.
Chelsea, does this have the questions in it, or do you want me to drop that separately?
Huh?
Does this have the questions in it for the bot, or do you want me to send that separately?
Yes. Can you send that separately?
Yeah, I'll definitely drop it in.
And then absolutely, Jana, I can put all of these giveaways in Abundant Money. But my book and the giveaways are not currently in Abundant Money, but I can definitely put them there for sure. So please put the business bot questions. And I think this is a good segue to get into building your social media. But before that, I know we had a couple of our moms. So our day got a little bit messed up. Our agenda got a little bit messed up, but that's okay. Tony, I wanted to hear from you briefly because we've been leaning into a lot of AI automations. Tony is one of our moms in Abundant Academy, and we have been working with building out her business bot very closely, building her digital products together. And she's been using AI for some of her social media stuff too. I would love for you to talk about it briefly before Alexia takes it away and starts talking about building your social media and monetizing it. So hi, Tony.
Hi there. Hi, everyone. So yeah, I spent about, I think it's been 4 years now, kind of more like throwing spaghetti at the wall when it came to my social media. I knew that people were making money, and I knew that it was a great opportunity, but I didn't know how to do it. And I started investing in different coaching and different programs, and getting distracted by all of the shiny free webinars that I would see on social media. And I honestly felt so overwhelmed. I was just collecting information and I almost felt like a wet sponge. And then when I met you, Chelsea, I was like, it felt really aligned, but I was kind of like, I probably shouldn't invest in another thing. But it's so affordable. It's like a no-brainer. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this also. And now this is just my main thing, because you get it, like you're a mom, you totally understand all the other things that we have to deal, that we and you showed me how to use AI, and it just blew my mind. And Alexia, your prompts to program ChatGPT to sound like my brand and write everything for me, then it just turns you into like an editor of it, as opposed to spending hours trying to write it from scratch. And it's amazing. It's like, wow, it's really good. Okay. And so it it just was a huge game changer for me. Like using it for my social media. But then I also had a 90-minute meeting with you, Chelsea, and it was
Yeah.
like all that noise and like overwhelm was like lifted right after, like during that meeting, and I had a plan, a clear plan, and it all pieced together, like all the things I had been learning. It was like, this plan makes so much sense. And now it's like I wake up every day and I know what I need to do, and I know the big, the small dominoes that will make a huge difference and in my business. And I have a lot to do, but I feel like that clarity was just such a gift from God, because in my personal life too, I was having a hard time. Like life was definitely lifing. I am
Life
now,
is lifing.
yes.
But you are so joyful and such an honor to work with, and such a wonderful asset to our community, that I just love working with you, Tony. And I love seeing what you're going to do. Tony is Simple Joyful Learning, right? On social media.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes. And she's teaching other moms how to, you have 20 years of experience in education, and you're taking that knowledge and putting it into teaching other moms how to homeschool their children or have present activities that are educational with their kids through play. And it's just a wonderful kind of testimony to leveraging what your experience is, leveraging your motherhood, and turning that into a profitable business, or into a business, a budding business that will be profitable. And it's really exciting because it comes naturally. And that was one of the core things that we focused on. And it's just so lovely to watch and hear you talk about things that make you as excited, like through our voice memos, that I want every mom to have that same experience that you have. And I'm so proud of you. And I'm so fortunate to be working with you so closely.
Oh my
So
goodness. No, I'm the lucky one. And any moms that are on the fence, I pray that you will give this a good shot, because it has made all the difference for me. And I just have no doubt that it's going to be so successful. And I just couldn't be more grateful. So thank you.
Thank you, Tony. That's amazing. Agreed. Okay, Amy, then we will, if you have 5 minutes and you want to tell us a little bit about, thank you for sharing, Tony. If you want to tell us a little bit about your experience, Amy coaches other moms that have special need children, how to live their life holistically and completely and joyfully. And you've been a member of Abundant Academy as well. And we are so honored to have you. And we love working with you, even though you just got back from vacation and I'm jealous. If you What were some of the objections that you faced when you started our coaching program? And what are some of the things that you learned, or how you feel walking away from it? I would just love to hear that from you.
Yeah, so some of the objections at first, I am a mom to a 10-year-old little boy. He has Down syndrome, autism, ADHD. I like to call him my little triple threat. Um, so I was really worried about just like adding something else onto my plate because our life is chaotic. I was in corporate for 20 years. Um, and now I'm getting my coaching business off the ground. So it was like, can I really do this again? Can I trust another program that's gonna, maybe just tell me to like hustle more and get up earlier and do all the things. So that was like my hesitation. I was worried about that.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And have I said that? Have we done that? Have I already told you to get up at 4?
Yes. Yes. So that's like what changed my mind. Like, you guys get moms exactly like me. You actually see me, you understand, the hecticness of mom life. And that's my dream. Like, I want freedom. I want, you know, Derek may never be independent. So our goal is to set up financial freedom for, God forbid, the day we're not there, to have them set up so they have no worries and everything will be taken care of for him, which makes me extremely emotional. Um, and that spoke to my soul. So like, I realize I don't need more on my plate. You guys are going to give me freedom and that opportunity to do that. So
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
We love you, Amy.
So honored. We
Yeah.
love you so much, and I'm so honored to share this with you and to give you just the tools that I know and to be able to learn with you. I think that's one of the core things that has been so transformational in our
Mhm.
like coaching journey is
Yeah.
I didn't realize we were like, I knew that we were it was going to be a learning curve, but I didn't realize that we were going to be learning. It was such a collaboration and such a no competition, no nothing. It's let's learn this together and let's approach life together and let's figure out how to be moms in business and do everything that we know. So give you all of the tools and templates to make yourself successful and then to share the crap out of it and let's go. I'm so proud of you. I'm so honored.
Thank you. Can I just share
you're
one more thing too? It's
Please.
crazy. Like God puts you in places and years ago, Alexia, I don't even know how long ago. I was with I was with Thrive and she spoke on a call and I've been following her journey ever since. So, because of her, also like all of you, but it's crazy. Like God literally put me in the place exactly where I needed to be. And I'm just so grateful for you guys.
I'm so grateful for you. And you're right. God does put you in places. He does not call the qualified. He qualifies the called. And I think all of us have that in us. And as you can see, I don't know how we got so lucky to have so many amazing experts with us, but it's not just experts that speak to us. It's also our moms are experts. So the different like specialties that you guys all have is so amazing. And I'm so fortunate to know you. So thank you. Okay, I want to roll into Alexia Ferrari, who's going to roll into Amanda Sellers. We're going to go back to back to back. You guys are the like virality digital product experts. We're going to then lead into Shannon Karen's. I don't know if you guys want to create a little bit of a collaborative conversation about this, but we are teaching digital products. Alexia Ferrari went from 2,500 followers to over 400,000 followers. She just took all of her systems that she uses and everything that she knows, and she put it into business in a box with us. Amanda Sellers, she just reached 1 million followers on Facebook, but she has something crazy followers. She reaches over 200 million people a month. Shannon Karen's has sold $2.8 million in digital product sales, and she's sharing her highly converting landing pages with us, her exact templates with us in Business in a Box, which tells I don't know, how many years did it take you to come up with that? I think it was like 7 years almost. She recorded her whole process and is teaching us how to do that too. So I'm going to let these experts take the floor because they are just the experts. And I'm so honored to have you guys here today. So thank you.
Thank you, Chels. Okay, I'm not gonna lie to you. I was tearing up over here listening to Amy talk because I've been watching Amy. She's been watching me. I've been watching her, and I know her struggle. And I think the coolest thing about us all coming together today is that I am you and you are me. Like we are the same people. And those struggles that, she was talking about as a mother, that beautiful chaos and churn that we go through, we're all there. But the interesting thing is that, we are there, but we have this deep desire to create, to build, and to leverage whatever knowledge that's special to us inside of us and share it with the world. And instead of, making it an excuse, right? Like Phoebe was saying, make it the reason why, right? She didn't say it exactly like that, but she said something to that effect. And I couldn't agree more with her. That's what it's about. It's about using that why inside of yourself and reason for why you want to share it and what impact you can make. That's what I want you to hold on to with any of the information you're going to hear. Apply it to anything you've learned so far on this call, and apply it to everything you're going to hear going forward. And with the last moments that we have together today, I had a whole thing prepared for you, but I'm listening, and I'm going to share some things I think you might need. I'd love to know, and please drop in the chat, how many of you want to launch a digital business with digital products, your knowledge, your courses, okay, all that beautiful stuff you have up here, you want to document it in such a way and you want to share it with the world. Ashley, okay, awesome. Let me know. Cami, Kim, Natalia, okay, love it. Okay, I figured that. I could feel that. Okay, so a little bit about my story. If you don't know who I am, I'm the Millionaire Homemaker on Instagram. I think some of you follow me, but I wasn't always the Millionaire Homemaker. In fact, I've had many different names of my personal branded handle over the years. And the handle that I have right now is the same handle I had 7 years ago when I met Amy. I don't even know what it was called back then. I think it was called The Sexy Side of Life. I'm pretty sure. Okay. But what I want to tell you is that before I became successful in terms of having a massive following, and I'll call it massive, I think it's pretty big, you know, it's growing every day. I think it's 430,000 right now. But 6 months ago, I didn't have that following. Yes, I was coaching people. I was doing more like intimate one-on-ones, and I was helping people, but my reach was very limited. But really, the story starts with me being a corporate mother. And I'm still a corporate mother. For anyone who follows me along in my stories, you know that that's the world I come from. For 10 years, I was in power suits and heels and doing the thing. And then I had a baby, and it changed everything about the things I knew I wanted. And suddenly the corporate ladder it didn't seem so enticing to me. Why? Because I knew it was going to mean me trading my precious time in the car, being away from that newborn that I loved so much. And I just knew that I had to do something different. And so with that, I looked inside myself and thought, okay, what skills do I have? What am I currently doing for my company? And how can I pitch something from home? And so I had started helping them. I did a lot of leadership development work, project management, a lot of masculine, very like financial driven things and big teams and the whole thing. And I said, you know what? I am so good at marketing and I'm already doing that to some capacity for my company. I'm going to run all of brand management for them. So I pitched this idea. They said yes. And the world shut down anyway. So it was like the perfect timing. So I turned the shed that I'm in right now, literally it was a shed, okay? It had mud, like wheelbarrows and machinery. And my husband got it all out and he turned this shed into what is now my office. I would show you the office, but you don't want to see it. It's very messy. I have ring lights and big boards and everything, but it works, right? My point in sharing that with you is because I started working from home, I saw the impact it made on my family. I was able to have a slow breakfast with my children. I was able to use all the time that I was using during a commute, getting up at 4 a.m., spending 3 hours in a car, getting my butt to Capitol Hill every single day, downtown DC. And I was able to repurpose that and pour into my family in a really beautiful way. I was able to have lunch with them, make them a home cooked meal in the middle of the day, okay? And I said, oh my gosh, I want more. And this is just so amazing. I'm still getting to do work that I'm really, really good at. And I love the corporate work that I do. But I thought to myself, I have to help moms have this feeling. I have to show them a way and give them a way to build something like this from home. And so I decided to understand this world of digital marketing. I already knew branding and I was helping people to monetize their businesses and come up with ways, but I needed to pour gasoline on this baby and I needed to figure out how are moms really building from home and what are they doing in the digital world that helps them build up these systems in the background that they're able to spend their most precious moments with their families. And so I went to work and I learned. I spent a lot of money learning. Chelsea and I added up the other day how much we've spent. What was it, Chelsea? Do you remember the number? I can't even remember collectively what it was.
Collectively, between all of our experts that come here, I think it's somewhere in the ballpark of like $220,000 that we've all spent.
Yeah. I've done every mastermind you can think of. I have done all the things. And then most recently, I've poured tons of money into learning digital systems, digital marketing, virality, YouTube. I mean, all kinds of things to learn. And so what I found out is that even though I wanted to do this, nobody was watching me. Like I was making these posts. In fact, I had a whole different handle that I created called La Digipreneur. You can even look it up. You can see some of my early on stuff. Amy knows, right? I started like just a brand new channel to like really pour in and make a niche channel. Well, the problem is I was disconnected. And so I want you to ask yourself today, are you disconnected from the thing that you want to talk about most? And if you're posting and creating a brand just because you think it's going to help earn you money, I promise you, you will get burnt out. You will stop and you won't carry on in your journey, because at some point it has to be bigger than yourself. At some point it has to be tied to a bigger mission for you to keep going when it gets hard. Because business building, the true business building is not sexy, okay? It is you figuring it out. It's you asking questions. It's you learning. It's you researching. It's you attending our weekly coaching sessions and just taking a ton of notes to figure out, okay, what is my next step that's going to help move the needle forward, right? So when we do all of this and we figure out what we really, really want to talk about, that's when we start to see some traction. And that's what happened with me. I had to become the woman I was dreaming about. So I wrote down all the things, and I want you to write down right now, what are all the things that you really, really, really want to talk about? Like, what are those things? What do you want to share with people? What lights you up? What makes you glow, right? And when I broke it down, I was like, man, I want to learn how to cook. I want to like be the one that can like French braid my daughter's hair and make her look beautiful. I want to have a peaceful, like, time to pray and to journal and to take care of my body the way God intended. And I was so far from that woman even 6 months ago. I felt like every aspect of my business building was chaotic and stressful. And so I said, screw it. I'm just going to change my handle. I want to help earn money, and I want to create $1 million business from home. Okay. I want to show other mothers that it's possible, but I want to be a homemaker. So I had to become the millionaire homemaker. And I dreamed up this concept. I didn't act on it right away. In fact, I held on to this idea for months. And Le Digipreneur was up and running, and it was failing miserably. And it was horrible and embarrassing. And I did some silly things. And so I started to get smart, and I started studying. So my kids would go to bed. I dream up this concept about the millionaire homemaker, and I would study, okay, how am I going to get eyeballs on me? What am I going to do? So I can grab attention, create connection, build these relationships, build that community that I'm dreaming of. And I'll tell you, success leaves breadcrumbs. And so when you start looking at all these posts that are going viral and are doing really well in your niche and respective areas that you want to, things you want to talk about, you're going to find they have some similarities. They have some special things that makes them go viral every single time. So I started like noting all of these things and writing it down in like literally I sat down with a notebook. I had my phone out, and like I would just, I know it was old school, but like I did, like I would sit with my little lamp, and I'd get cozy at night, and I'd sit with my phone and my notebook and like start writing all this stuff down. And I looked at it and I was like, oh my gosh, like we can reverse, and I'm going to reverse engineer this. And I'm going to put my brand, I'm going to apply my brand to these virality like themes that I know are going to make stuff go viral. And I did. And I changed my handle. And the first post I did under the Millionaire Homemaker now is sitting at, I think, 5.5 million views. So I just want you to know that with the right strategy paired with heart and passion, that is your magic mixture. When you pair those two things together, you're going to absolutely like be unstoppable with what you want to go create. And we have to build smarter. And so what I want to say right now is if this is you, I'm telling you this story, like, gosh, yes, I want to talk about this thing. I want to make a cookbook, you know, I want people to taste my beautiful cooking because they use my recipes and they're doing it, like whatever it is, you know, if you're Amy and you want to transform, the lives of mothers who have special needs children. I'm one of those mothers. I have a special needs adult that I take care of. She's my sister-in-law and she lives with me, and I get it. Like, she's going to help so many people. Who do you want to help, right? And then you have to build the business around that. So today, I want you to write down either on a pen and paper, with pen and paper, or with your notepad or computer, whatever you have. And I want you to write down what you want to talk about most. And if we can think about, okay, well, what kind of niche is that? Like, what topic is that? Like, start to like play with that a little bit. And then I want you to start really dreaming about the ideal person that you want to help today. Okay, who is she? And I want you to think about every aspect of her life. I want you to think about her greatest desire, her greatest challenge that she has. And I want you to think about a day in the life of your target person that you're helping. Okay, what does that look like? And once you do that and you kind of document all this stuff, I now want you to either write a placeholder now and think on it, let it marinate a little bit today, or you might know right now, what is the number one problem that your target audience has? Number one problem that you have a solution to. And most of the time, I'll give you a little hint, most of the time, the problem is something that you've gone through, because usually our target audience is kind of like a mirror of ourselves in a previous state. Okay, so if we can think about what that problem is, we then can build a solution with, you know what I'm going to say, with a digital product. Okay, now a digital product can be so many things. It can be a PDF. Okay, it can be an ebook. Viral playbook, my viral playbook, where I break down the reverse engineered method of how to do virality. Everything I wrote down on that little book in my bed, like that's in the book. That's part of viral playbook. You can turn that into something. So you think of the problem, you reverse engineer the solution, and you document it. Chelsea's, if you've been a part of our weekly coaching, she's talked to you a little bit about how you can use AI prompts to help you with that. And I want you to do that. Once you start building out your business bots, I dumped a bunch of questions inside of the chat. And those are your questions that I want you to fill out, or have ChatGPT help you fill them out. Or what we really want you to do is to sit there and look at the questions, and we want you to answer them in your voice to text into your ChatGPT. As Chelsea would say, what is it? It's chat vibing, or what is it again?
Mom vibing.
So
a lot of ChatGPT, the OpenAI coders, use vibe coding, where they talk to text the code. And so we coined the phrase mom vibing, because it completely changes the game. And it helps when you're building out your bot, like Alexia is saying to do. It helps to have ChatGPT or your personal assistant, that we're going to call ChatGPT your personal assistant. Now you're going to name ChatGPT. Mine's Judy. Tony's is Emily. We name our Judy. It will recognize you. Yes, Chrissy, it will recognize your voice, but it'll also start to learn the cadence of your voice. It'll start to learn your brand voice and understand the way that you say things. So that's the game changer in how you get ChatGPT in all of your product listings for Shopify, all of your social media branding, all of your email marketing, all of your response to texts. Talk to ChatGPT. There's a microphone on the app. You're going to want to talk to it like you talk to an assistant, and it will change the way that you do business for the rest of your life, because it is like having an executive assistant. Bestie Boo, that's hilarious, Amy. It is like having an executive assistant, and I train ChatGPT to know all of my kids' stuff. So if we're talking about mom life, right? You need your kids, you need ChatGPT to understand, just like you would an executive assistant, the different obligations that you have to your children as well. So I bake that into my time blocking schedule as I'm automating anything else, but it also affects the way that I respond to emails, or I do really anything. You're going to definitely want to talk to ChatGPT like your assistant. Sorry.
Yes. So mom vibing. Okay. Yeah. This is the thing. So take all those questions that I dropped into the chat. Okay. Mom vibe it out in your ChatGPT thread. If you're using your desktop, I want you to stop. I want you to get the app, put it on your phone. It'll change everything for you and how you build your business. Okay, so once you've created a really good foundation inside your ChatGPT, and it's primed out with your bot, you can put all of this information inside of a Google Doc. That's what I do. And we want to connect the Google Doc to your ChatGPT as a project, okay? Ask ChatGPT how to do this if you don't know how. I know we've gone over it in weekly coaching, but if you don't know how, do that, okay? And what happens is, now I have my my business inside of a project inside of ChatGPT, and now it's going to be referencing that Google Doc, right? Every single time I ask it a question. So it's primed with the right information. I treat this as the living, breathing document, okay, for my business. This is the new business plan. Old business plans sit on a shelf and collect dust. This is living and breathing. I'm always updating it with my latest products and offerings. And, you know, if I'm sharing a story about my life, like over and over a little bit differently, I'll add that detail in. I'm really big on including your brand story inside. I gave you all the questions, but there's a couple other things that I do as well. And one of the things is I document my brand story. It's kind of like my bio, but from my perspective, right? So what's my brand story? It's the had the baby. I've been, you know, going to corporate for 10 years with the power suit. I turned my backyard shed into an office. I learned what it was like to work from home, and I want to do that for other moms. That's the elevator pitch, essentially, but with some other details. So I want you to record what yours is, okay? Whatever it is, record it and put it inside of this document so it knows. Okay, so the next step is digital product. There's lots of things you can do, and I want you to talk to your ChatGPTs to brainstorm some ideas for your digital product. And if you don't have any ideas yet, I want you to think simple, okay? You don't have to go build out a 4-hour course right now that costs $9.97, okay? Like you don't have to do that, okay? My viral playbook is $25, and it's I think it is a lot of pages, but like ChatGPT helped formulate. I took pictures of my notes and put it in ChatGPT, and it helped to build out my pages. This is stuff you can do, right? Like you can be sitting with your kids, you know, while they're playing, they're jumping on the trampoline or something, or they're in the sandbox, and like grab your notepad, grab your phone, brainstorm, let it articulate your notes, let it create your first digital product, okay? You can do this. Think about the problem that you're solving, make it into a digital product. Chelsea, you have a question?
Yeah, so you're exactly right. I think that's amazing. I would love to get Shannon's input on some of the digital products as well.
Yeah, that's probably a good segue into that. And then I can jump back in for like, I have some virality tips, and whenever that's applicable, I'll jump back in and share those.
Yeah, I love that. So Shannon, if you can tell us a little bit, I know that you and Alexia work very closely on Business in a Box and how to formulate our digital products. And then we'll tag into Amanda and Alexia to talk about Virality, and then we'll be going into Samia next. So Shannon, can you tell us a little bit about, so Shannon has sold $2.8 million in digital products. And when you first started doing that, you didn't have a huge following, right?
No, and I started actually as a blogger 7 or I think maybe 8 years ago now. It was like in 2017. And I was just, I knew moms were making money blogging, and it's changed a lot since then with video becoming so big now. And I kind of was figuring it out a little bit, and I knew they were like linking to things that they liked and sharing, you know, affiliate marketing and stuff. But I was kind of digging into it, but it seemed like you needed a really, really huge following to make affiliate marketing work, which you can, you know, it builds over time, definitely. But especially if you're like linking to Amazon products or something and you're making like such a small commission, $1 here, $1 there, it helps to have like a huge volume of people. But with digital products, you don't necessarily have to have like 100,000 followers right off the bat. You can have something that really provides, you know, you just have 100, 200 people on your email list, and those people want a certain transformation that you're offering with your digital product. And if you're charging, you know, $37 here, or, you know, $50 there, or even like $12, for something that they want, and you sell a few of those, that adds up a lot faster than commissions off of a Amazon product or whatever that you're recommending. So yeah, so I started learning about digital products, and there's a lot of different platforms that you can put your digital products on. I just happened upon Shopify. So my store is also on Shopify. And then basically got better with my messaging. And at first I was a doctor at first, and we had all of this debt. And so I decided I was going to start sharing how we were paying off debt. And so I thought everyone wants a budget product or a debt payoff product. That just seemed like the obvious thing. So I made like a debt payoff planner. I had like a budget planner, and then once they got that for free, they could get the debt payoff planner. And it sold okay. But then as I was sharing our journey, people started asking me, well, how do you keep your grocery budget so low? And so they were asking me like, like for my exact meal plan. And I was like, that could be a really cool product. So I basically just took like exactly what we were eating in our grocery list and put it into a digital product, and that sold like crazy. And that's the product that I've made other products and stuff along the way, but my most popular product is my frugal meal planner. And when I first started selling it was just $12. The first month that I launched it, I made like $170,000 in a month, which was insane because we had $567,000 of debt or something like that from student loans, business, all kinds of stuff. And I just like doing the math with what we were making at the time, I was like, this is going to take 6, 7, 8 years to pay off. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh my gosh, we're going to pay this off in like a year because like it's just blowing up. And the cool thing about digital products is since you're not keeping inventory, it's almost like you're printing money, like to say in a weird way, like it's really
it's an
weird.
evergreen product. So it just keeps going. So long as you have the right meta strategy or the right outreach and top of funnel, it just keeps performing, which is what's incredible to have. So guys, so to have Shannon's exact templates, the magic in that sauce is the landing page, the strategy of how that landing page is built out, the strategy of how the digital product is built out, the strategy of how the freebie is built out. You can throw it out there as much as you want and throw that spaghetti at the wall, but just like any other business, you need to have, especially online, like Amanda will talk to you a little bit about in her content strategy, if even where the placement of your thumb is on your screen affects how somebody buys and the consumer psychology. So Shannon has nailed that and learned that. I don't know how you learned it other than the fact that, I mean, she is a doctor, so she's extremely brilliant, but
I don't know about
that. So sorry, Shannon, I get excited because now that I'm like clicked in and not nervous anymore, I want to talk to everybody. Now I'm like, okay, let's go. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, that was great. But I'm like so nervous too. I always get nervous public speaking, but so one thing I wanted to say, especially about my frugal meal planner, is that I am not a trained chef. I barely could cook at all. And it's like a cookbook, which is crazy. But I provided my audience with a transformation. So like, it's not that the content was like amazing, but I provided them with a really easy solution to help them save money and to get dinner on the table without like having to go through all this planning and stuff. Like I did the planning for them already. It's done. Here you go. And I always think to myself, like, I'm going to update it. Like, it's not that good. I don't know. Maybe I should change it. And then I see people saying, this changed my life. Oh my gosh, I get dinner on the table now. Oh, I have like all these kids and it was so hard, but this helped me. And I'm like, okay, I'm just going to leave it how it is because it's helping people. And I second guess myself all the time. But so that was like one of my main keys, is to focus on what transformation that you're bringing the person when you're thinking of a digital product, not necessarily like the content, and also not to get hung up on design, because that's a big thing, like graphic design and everything. You think like, oh, it's got to be like this beautiful thing. And Canva is very helpful, obviously, but still, when I look back at like my first few like digital products I made, I'm like, what is happening? So like, it's something that improves with time for sure, but I'm never going to be like an expert graphic designer. But the most important thing is the content. Like I've paid a lot of money for just like a PDF download that had like no cuteness because it had information that I wanted. And so
Maria Went's entire business model, and she makes $500,000 a month on average, she says, which she proves, but in digital product sales is all PDFs. Like, you're exactly right. Like, the PDF, it's the content. And I just have to make mention, what's so interesting to me and something that I love about you, Shannon, is you, of course, you solve the problem, right? And you're able to articulate that, but you do it in such an eloquent way that Shannon does a lot of the teaching when it comes to like the creation of the digital product in Business in a Box. And you break it down so eloquently, because it's like you just reverse engineer what you did and you talk about it. And I just love that, because you're solving that problem. Like, you were like, oh, okay, I figured out how to meal plan and save money and get myself out of debt. Here's a digital product. Here's how it works. Now you're taking Business in a Box. Okay, I figured out how to create digital products and actually make money on them. Here, let me reverse engineer it, and here you go. Alexia does the same thing with her Virality. Like, it's very cool watching you do that. So I am very impressed by you. So thank you for sharing all of your expertise with us.
Oh, thank you. I'm always worried that I'm not like presenting it well or something like that. But yeah, I just try to be like, this is exactly what I did. So come on, let's go. You can do it too.
And you, I would love for you to speak to Rank IQ really quick before we lean into Amanda, because I do know one thing that we really want to focus on, especially even in social media creation, but in digital products, is making sure that we hit those SEO keywords the right way, so we're attracting the right audience. Is that correct? And you focused on that quite a bit with your blog. And I know there's some moms on here that have like e-magazines and blogs as well. So if you can talk about Rank IQ and those different tools that you use to hit the right audience.
I see a lot of people that like are still just blogging, like they don't have like other forms of income, and they're complaining a lot. SEO is not working anymore. Google's not working, because they have like all those AI results and all that stuff now. There's been so many Google updates, but I think it's still working, but like you're going to see a video come up or an Instagram post come up. You can still use those keywords, but people are more likely to click on the quick 20-second video that gives them the tips instead of like a huge long blog post. And so understanding how SEO works, I think, is still really important. And I just came across this tool called Rank IQ, and I've been using that for a couple years, I think. And it's supposed to be for blogging, but it shows low competition keywords that people are searching for. So things that you would be able to rank for if you were a brand new blogger that didn't have like really any authority in the ranking space. And so I've found that when I use those keywords on like a YouTube video or even like a TikTok video, it gets more views. And that's because if people are typing it in Google to search for it, they're probably interested in it as well on social media. So to me, it's just like a really simplified SEO tool, because that to me was so overwhelming when I first started like going online. Because they make it sound so complicated, and all the other SEO tools are just crazy. Like you see all these numbers and analytics, and you're just like, what is this? I don't know. But Rank IQ is just really simplified. So I think it's like $49 a month. And you can download 16 reports, and then I think you can like pay more and like download more if you want more. But and then it shows you like all the keywords and what other blog posts are already ranking for those terms, so you can kind of see like what people are writing about and make sure that you're tackling the right points and all that kind of stuff. So it's just a really useful tool for yeah.
And you guys can get, I'm going to put the link in here. You guys can get all of the resources. So we taught a series on this in our coaching. It's an example of the coaching that we give as a part of the Business in a Box and as a part of Abundant Academy at large. But we have weekly coaching. We meet on Thursdays, and Shannon and Alexia and Amanda all sat down and we broke out how to build a digital product and how to go viral and leverage your social media. You can find that on Abundant Academy TV on YouTube. And then you can also get access to it in your portal, and it will be uploaded. It is a part of our actual courseware as well in Abundant Money, but we have even more informative courses on Abundant Money. So you can get more information on Rank IQ, building your blog, how to actually identify your niche and your target demographic, how to get your actual digital product started. We have that whole thing. And then in Business in a Box, what we're offering today is we're giving you all of the templates, your Canva templates, we're giving you the lead pages, we're giving you all of the landing pages, everything ready to go that you just need to use your business bot that we also train you how to build out to build that content, and you can create your own digital product business. So it's going to be really cool. Amanda, so thank you, Shannon. I'm sorry, I'm like kind of fumbling and rushing you around, but I'm so excited to use your sales funnel. And I want Amanda to talk a little bit. I know we're backing into like the end of the workshop. We're going to be going over by like 30 minutes. So I want Amanda, she is joining us from North Carolina. She is in the middle of her mission trip. She is here to talk to us about Virality. She made time, and I really appreciate that. I appreciate everybody making time to sit with us today. Thank you. But Amanda, I would love for you to talk a little bit more about your Virality, and then also some of your, I do know that we have moms that want to know about monetizing or brand deals on their social media, and you do that. So Amanda has brand deals of like $30,000 for her different reel series. So she can talk to that just briefly. And then we'll get into Samia Petalino talking about what to do with once you've made all of the money, what are you going to do with the money, and how do you structure that to build a generational wealth plan? So go ahead, Amanda.
Yeah, you guys are gonna have to forgive the bunkhouse. I'm in a tent in North Carolina. We're working on disaster relief. So this is my office this week. So yeah, let's talk about Virality. And I know Alexia she's honestly, we both have worked sorry, I'm reading y'all's comments as we go. Sorry. We both love to talk about Virality and what works and what doesn't work. And I think I want to push into the brand stuff a little bit more, if that's okay, because I don't have that much time either. And I want to make sure I get a chance to talk about that, because that is what I do specifically. Also, I don't know if I've pointed this out to you guys. We mentioned that I reached 1 million followers on Facebook. My following jumped up like 400,000 followers since I started working with this group of wonderful moms. So, I mean, it's working. It's working.
See?
So
You guys are going to go viral with us.
So, there is doing brand work is another one of those things that I did the hard way, figuring out from the bottom up. I would absolutely love to use every tool I have to help you guys start from a much higher point of success than I started from not having any idea. You have a lot of different categories of brand work opportunities, so it's really what you feel comfortable with and what you're interested in. There is affiliate work, there is product for payment, there is just one-off type brand work, and there is also like contracted work, like a brand hires you out for 6 months or a year or something like that, and you are paid a specific amount for a specific deliverables throughout that time period, right? So I would recommend use ChatGPT, write things out, and plan out what am I capable of, what works for me, what would I be able to deliver, right? There are a couple of different types of brand work that people hire you for. It, they will hire for brand awareness campaigns, as well as like a product awareness, like if they're launching a new product or something like that. Brand awareness would be just general, like Tide is really popular brand because everyone across every household uses it, and it's in movies, and it's the thing you see when you are watching TV, you know, you recognize the logo, right? And so that would be part of a brand awareness campaign when they hire out like movies to put their products in it and things like that. And so they do the same thing with influencers. And those are important for you to recognize, because those aren't ones where they're like, hey, we want, you know, you to have 100,000 followers so that everyone can see our, and we can get lots of sales. Instead, they'll have a budget for it, for just, let's hire 50 small influencers, and then that's 50 people who have each reached an audience of 1,000 people. That's 50,000 people who are just now have a recognition in their brain that this brand, oh, I know an influencer who used that, and automatically it builds trust, right? And so those are brand awareness campaigns. So if you are a good salesperson, then yes, these are absolutely things you can do as a micro influencer. Absolutely. If you're a great salesperson and you're like, I can turn around a product, like I give me any product and I'll get it sold. Then there's obviously brands who want to hire for that, for product launches and things like that. I don't love those. It's like they're kind of, you have an accountability to make a certain number of sales. And I don't love that. I like working with brands who just want to show what they do, want to maybe clarify their branding or their message. Some brands have hired me just as like a brand relaunch or something like that. So I guess one of the best ways to get in contact with brands, because I'm sure that's probably a question, is to build out your LinkedIn. And my husband runs mine completely. I don't use it at all. But he will reshare things. He'll just use it similar to a social media, and he'll reshare things that we've created over to this other platform. And you don't have to, like, don't make it a whole nother job, but just establishing yourself with that kind of presence in that niche, whatever niche you have worked out that you've decided you're in. Here's another really, really important thing about brand work. There are brands for literally everything. This is a brand work that's currently happening now. And I'm working with a mission company who uses influencers to bring awareness to work that's still being done. That's like resonates with my heart. Getting to go on mission trips and share about the work that's being done. They sent us to Guatemala last year to raise awareness about the camp that they have there and the work that they're doing there. So I say that to say just that I had no idea when I first started getting into brand work that there is a company out there for whatever you love, whatever you have true interest in, that you could talk about forever, that you would love to spend your time going to work with or do, right? And I highly recommend that you make a list of the type and style of brand work you would like to do, and what kind of companies you would like to work for. ChatGPT is pretty good for this. Sometimes it'll kind of get caught in a grouping of brands, and you got to tell it like, hey, I need you to think outside of traditional brands. I need you to think of like whatever. I think of different corporations, think of different programs, think of different, right? All of those just have some kind of advertising budget, and that's really what you're looking for more than you are like a specific brand. People love to work for Target and things like that. And that's cool. There is a place for that, and a great way to get into contact with any of these brands that you want to work with is to find they have different titles for it, and you can ask ChatGPT like which ones to look for, but there will be some type of marketing specialist with the brand. That's who you're actually looking for. You're not like trying to DM like Nike's Instagram page necessarily. You're looking for like the marketing person, right? And then you go DM that person, and you can do cold emails, or cold like DMs, and those have worked really well for us. There are also campaigns to sign up for. There's a couple different platforms. If you're searching brand opportunities or something like that, there are a couple different platforms whose whole purpose is to make connections between brands and influencers. There is not a like micro influencers. What's the range for micro influencers? Is it like $20,000?
Under 10, I thought. Maybe under 20.
Gotcha.
I think Mega's over 100, right?
Yes. So nano, there's nano, there's micro, mega, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So nano influencers, definitely brands hire them, and brands have an insane marketing budget. Like, you would be so surprised how much money they have setting aside for marketing, because they recognize just how incredibly important it is to tell your story and to market, right? So I got my feet wet a little bit with some product for payment type collaborations. And then once I felt like I knew what I was doing, I started asking for money. And it's like really nerve wracking, because we've had some brands that you talk to and you're like, okay, here's my budget, you know, and we're hoping and praying for like, I don't know, $1,500 or something like that. Right. And a lot of times if a brand isn't willing to meet you there, they'll negotiate. And so you got to be prepared for negotiation. So you don't want to start too low, but you got to be, you know, anyway, so if they just accept it right off the bat, you're like, man, I pitched way too low, because they obviously would have gone higher if they accepted right off the bat, no negotiation. So that all took a bit of a 1K to 10K. Okay, nano is what I was thinking of. Yeah, nano and micro, a lot of brands want to hire them because they have a loyal following. And I say this a lot on our coaching. The following that you're building now is a community, whereas a lot of influencers like me, I have platforms that are so huge that it's not, I have sections that aren't, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry, that aren't as loyal and don't necessarily, I mean, we can raise awareness about a campaign or a brand, but we can't necessarily convert as far as sales go, because
You guys, these
because
are
it's
her
so
fourth
huge.
set of
Does that make sense?
twins, and they're real babies. She is really doing this.
I'm
on
so
a mission
inspired. I'm
trip.
taking video because I'm like, guys,
FYI.
this is how moms build
This is
business. Like,
FYI.
we're on virtual stages and we have 2 babies in our hands. Like, I am so impressed.
I'm so glad. I just want you guys to know all of the things, so you can do this too. So you can hold your babies and do work that fulfills you, and spend time with your family.
Amanda is the epitome of showing up. She just shows up. She has not missed a coaching call. She's a mother of 12. She is still postpartum. She just shows up. She commits to herself and to her team, and she does it. I think every single one of our experts, actually, when they say they're going to be there, they are. And that's something that's absolutely incredible, and something that we need to lean into as moms, and know that it's what makes us so critically important and so different as business leaders, because we are moms and we are responsible. As Samia says, moms tend to be more responsible. We have to make 1,000 decisions in a day. We have to pivot. We have to be completely, we have to be strong. Doctors 1 minute, nurturers the next. And I think that we absolutely are just the next revolution and the next wave of business leaders. I hope that you found value thus far. Let all of our speakers know so far if you've gotten value from what you've been hearing and seeing. And I really, really definitely hope that you will stick with us through coaching. We have Bradley coming up in about 15 minutes. And since we've taught you what we know about businesses thus far, and there's way more inside of Abundant Money, every single one of the speakers you've heard from so far has a course, multiple modules within Abundant Money, and in the added on Business in a Box is what we give all of our templates to, your ready-made business bot, everything we've spent and taken all of our decades of knowledge to get to this point, and we are giving you everything that we needed and needed to know, needed to learn, need to actually have in hand, ready for you. So I really highly urge that you grab the Business in a Box. Amy Luke has it, Tony has it, Carissa has it, Kat has it, Pamela has it. I want all of you, Kim has it, all of you need to, Michelle has it, all of you guys need to jump in and get Business in a Box. We love it so much. Now we are teaching you how to make the money. Samia is from a family of, she it's in her blood generationally. She is a money manager. It's her brother manages my family money. Samia has managed over 300 million. She has her Series 7. She wrote a book called The Money Handbook. You can get it on Amazon. She is our expert leader. She has an entire course on creating generational wealth with faith-based principles. It's called Faith and Finance, Creating Generational Wealth on Abundant Money. She is our fractional CFO. She is one of our original partners. She is absolutely incredible, one of my dearest friends. And I just love working with her. She is going to teach you what to do with that money now that you are making that money, from any budget. And her course is included in Business in a Box and Abundant Money if you buy it today. It teaches you how to get out of debt, how to reduce your debt, how to invest in stocks and invest in real estate, go through all of the money mindset shifts too that need to happen. So, hi.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Samia. I'm the fractional CFO for Abundant Management. I'm really happy to be here. And I have a 5-module e-course that is inside of Business in a Box, correct?
Yes. And
Great.
she's also the founder of Lino Cosmetics.
Yes. Yes.
So listen, Leva, you went to a friend's house even on the weekday. Yeah? Come on. Daddy and I have to get out to buy some stuff for the birthday.
Someone is speaking another language on this video, but I love it. I only know a little bit of Spanish, guys. That's all I got for you. So back to finance. Really excited to be here. Thank you, Chelsea, for just giving me a couple minutes. Brad's coming on after me. Is that the cue?
Yeah.
Are they like texting you when he's ready? Because I can totally stop talking when he's ready to come on.
I'm going to stop you.
Okay. Just like, Samia, you're done. No problem. I'm like, text me and I'll stop talking. So I live in So I live in South Florida. I actually live like an hour from Chelsea. So I've been up with her a couple times at her house to do some things for the Abundant platform. But I'm so thankful to be here today. I'm married. I've been married for 10 years. I have 2 small children who are 5 and 7. So I'm definitely a little bit in the thick of it with just high emotional needs. Anybody else have like super high emotional needy children? It's kind of nuts. And I wanted to just inspire and encourage the women that are on today, because a lot of times, especially on this platform, we are teaching you how to essentially create income and earn income from home, not at a 9-to-5, but it's what I call passive income. You're making money while you're sleeping. And you want to be able to set it up generationally so that you have legacy for your kids, because probably when we're like 60 or 70, like, I don't know if we're going to want to be influencers anymore. Do you know what I'm saying? And you've built this brand around your face and your personality and you may not necessarily be able to pass that on to one of your kids because it's completely built around your name. But what you can pass on to your kids is things that you purchased with the money that you made while you were building your brand. So for example, you can buy rental properties, you can buy stocks, you can buy something called an asset. And an asset is anything that you can liquidate and it turns into cash. So even like diamonds technically are an asset, but you really want something that increases in value for you over time. So 2 of the main ways to impact your net worth are real estate and the stock market. And that is how 99% of people create wealth for themselves, in addition to whatever job they have, or potentially like maybe they own a business and they're building their business and one day they want to sell their business and come into a cash event. And then they take that cash and they buy real estate, they buy stocks. So it's the easiest point of entry for your kind of like everyday American, because not everyone has access to things like private equity funds and hedge funds and things that have minimums of like $1 million minimum to get in. So one of the things I encourage moms to do is set up 2 things for their children, which you can do as soon as they have a social security number. So literally like day 10 of their life. One is called a 529 account. This is an educational account you can add money into every month. You could do $50 a month, you can do $100 a month, whatever you want, until they're 18. And by the time they're 18, it will be around 25 grand. And when they turn that age, they can use that money for anything regarding education tax-free. So it doesn't have to be a 4-year college. They could actually use it to pay for today's workshop. Anything that is education, they could use that money for. It could be a trade. Like, let's say they just want to go to school for a year and learn how to code, like a technology school, or like a dental hygienist. Like, it doesn't have to be a 4-year degree. But if you have a child who likes to argue a lot, they might become an attorney, and law school's not cheap. So you kind of need a law degree if you're going to be a lawyer, and you kind of need a medical degree if you're going to be doing open heart surgery. So it's hard to tell, like, when our child is born, like, what are they going to be? And I know some people are like anti education, and I totally get that, because there is a lot of things happening like, on our college campuses that aren't great. There's a lot of like indoctrination.
I'm sorry,
happening.
me and my tinfoil hat. I'm going to mute myself.
But listen, there's Christian colleges too, guys. There are conservative Christian colleges. Like, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, right? So anyways, all that to say, $50 a month, guys. And when I was 18, when you turned 18, like, wouldn't it have been nice for your parents to be like, hey, I like $25,000 you can use towards education. Like, that's kind of awesome. And by the way, it's tax-free. And if for whatever reason they don't want to go and they're like, I just want to be like a barista at Starbucks the rest of my life, you literally can just give them the money. Like, it's fine. You can just cash the money out, and it's taxed at their income level. So like, whatever their taxable income is that year is what they're taxed at. So chances are it'll probably be taxed like 15%, like if you had to cash it out. In which case I would recommend using as like a down payment for like a duplex, and they could live in one and rent out the other. Like, if they absolutely don't want to go to college, fine, but at least use it for something that's going to increase in value. And the other thing with real estate is the depreciation, because it's a huge write-off for you. You can depreciate like immediate depreciation, at least 30% of it on your taxes, which goes against your income, which is really nice, which is why a lot of real estate investors pay 0 in taxes. So it's worth it. The second account, so that's $529, and that's all 50 states. You can open that up anywhere. Your bank could probably open it up for you. The second is called an UTMA account. And all of this, by the way, is in my 5-module e-course that I go through. Generational wealth. I talk a lot about biblical principles with finance, and kind of like even what the Bible has to say about prosperity. And I also talk about very practical things: investing, budgeting, estate planning. It's a foundation for you, like a finance 101 foundation. And I do it in a setting, almost a classroom setting. There's students in the class, and there's Q&A at the end. And I really recommend you watch the 5 modules, because it will help you so much. And I also wrote a book called The Money Handbook on Amazon, but sometimes people are auditory and visual. Like, everyone just likes to watch videos. Like Shannon mentioned, like, nobody really reads blogs anymore. But they will see the video. So that's my plug for Business in a Box. Buy it and change your life. Okay. So the second account.
It's so important. We will help you make the money, and then we will help you spend the money. No, invest
and help
the
you
money.
steward the money. So the second type of account. Yeah. And I can put it in the little chat. So anyway, the second account is called an UTMA, UTMA. And it's an account, it's basically a joint account with your child, because they're a minor until they're 18. It's a joint account, and you can add money to it every month as well. And you can buy stocks in it. You can buy ETFs. An ETF is an exchange traded fund. It's essentially like a basket of stocks. If you don't want to just buy one stock, you want to be a little bit more diversified, I recommend purchasing an ETF. And you can add money into that account every month for them as well. So you've got these 2 accounts going. You've got the education account, and then you have essentially a joint account that you can buy investments in. Same thing, $50 a month, $100 a month. Here we are 18, and they now have between 25 and 30 grand in that account. So that account can be used for anything they want. It's just like a normal checking account per se, but there's investments in it. And you could use that to pay for their college, their wedding, a down payment on a property to help them start a business, really anything. So I think it's really important because it gives them a little bit of a start. So like you're literally setting them up for success with these 2 accounts. And if you can't do both, I highly recommend at least doing one. And the thing that I have done since my children have been born is for Christmas and for their birthday. It's a little bit hard with my husband's family because they're Italian and they're like obsessed with Christmas. It's like, here's Jesus and here's Christmas, like a really big deal. I ask our families, hey, listen, whatever your budget is to spend on my kids, give me half of it in a check and then the other half just buy toys. Okay. Well, I should say that's what I ask his family because presents are like a really big deal. They want to see them open the gifts for their birthday and Christmas and like they're very dramatic. It's fine. So I have just agreed with them to 50-50. My family, I'm like, just write them a check. You're not buying them any toys. They have plenty of things. It's like, I have a little bit of a different relationship because it's like my mom and dad versus my in-laws. And that's what they do. So my side of the family is like, okay, for their birthday, and it's my brothers too, which are the uncles, getting all my kids all the things. I'm like, write them a check. If it's $100, it's $150, whatever it is. And I add it. It's like an extra month. It's like a 13th month of me adding to these accounts. And then with my husband's parents, they do half in check and then half toys. So it actually helps a lot because it's almost like you're adding a couple months of payments that year when family contributes and you're like, hey, listen, like this is for their education when they get older. This is for potentially a business they're going to want to start or a down payment on real estate. So I really recommend you get brave with talking about money with your family because let's face it, let's think about the last 5 years of Christmas and birthday toys. Where are they? Did they make you any money? Are they at Goodwill? Did you drop them off at Salvation Army? Like, really, did you give them away to your neighbor? Which I'm all about giving and all the thing and being generous, but I'd rather them, that $100 turn into $300. Sounds way better to me than clutter in my house. So I'm a minimalist too. Those are my 2 tips for kids. So as for budgeting, because Chelsea wanted me to touch on budgeting. Sorry if I'm talking fast. I'm like trying to fit this all in before Bradley hops on. As for budgeting,
Thank you.
I think it's really important to add this into your budget. Even if you like go out to eat one less time and just cook, you know what I'm saying? But the other thing is, I think sometimes with budgeting, the only thing that I would say so that there's life around it and you don't feel like you're being squeezed or like there's lack. You want to go into the mindset with budgeting of like, there's always enough. And it's not that we can't afford something. It's that this is what we're choosing to afford. Like, hey, we signed you up for soccer, dance, lacrosse, and volleyball, and that's what we're choosing to afford. So no, we're not going to Disney this weekend for $12,000. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think it's good to point out what you are affording and what you are spending money on when your kids ask for stuff, which they will all the time, every time you go somewhere, because they have no concept of that like money has to be earned and all the things, especially when they're young. So when you're budgeting, I think it's important to have like an investing percentage there. And I do have a digital download for that we have like one for the budgeting as well that has an Excel spreadsheet and it's really easy to plug everything in and kind of see your financial picture at a glance. The other thing I would say is sometimes people get in the mode of like reducing expenses. So they start canceling their gym membership or maybe their Netflix membership because they're trying to like pinch pennies. And although that isn't a bad thing, cutting random expenses isn't going to necessarily help you increase your wealth. Sometimes it isn't so much your expenses as it is you're under earning. The issue isn't your spending. The issue is actually for your skill set, you're not earning enough, which is why I love Abundant Academy so much, because it gives everybody the opportunity to earn more money. And then it's easier to budget because you're like, awesome, I can do the organic groceries. I can do the date night once a week. I can give the 10% to fill my philanthropy bucket. And I can also have an investment percentage put out for my kids and for my future. And for you as an adult with you and your husband, some of the things you could do are exactly what you're doing for your kids. So if your goal with what you're doing with Abundant, how it's going to bring in extra income, I think you want to assign those dollars somewhere. Like, what are you going to be doing with the extra money that you're making? Are you paying off your credit card debt? And then once that's paid off, then what? Well, what if you started putting money away for the next 18 months for a down payment on an investment property that you can rent out? Or what if you started adding money into a stock brokerage account and investing in the market so that it increases? So it's like the dollar loses its value every year because of inflation. So you want your money to be working for you. So that's really what I wanted to talk about today. And I just wanted to open it up for Q&A. Like if anybody had any questions, I know a lot of times like money usually isn't really talked about a lot, especially people's upbringings. Maybe there was like shame around it, or they felt weird about making it, especially like in the whole church world. Sometimes like the whole poverty thing is very spiritualized. Like people feel more spiritual if they're poor, they're closer to the Lord. There's a lot of like misconceptions about making money, and it's actually a tool that can be used honestly to increase the kingdom. Because yes, the gospel is free, absolutely, but it costs money to get it out there and to have people find out about it. And I think for us, like your workplace, your marketplace, wherever you're putting your talents, it is your ministry. It doesn't have to be on the stage at a church. Like wherever you go, you're an ambassador. So I think it's important that we're good examples and that we're here to be a blessing. And it's really hard to be a blessing to people if you're paycheck to paycheck, because then you just end up in survival mode. So that's one of the things I love so much about this platform and what it's doing for moms is it's giving them the ability to create an extra stream of income for their family, whether that's to pay debt off, whether that's to give, whether that's like, because they're wanting to have a philanthropic arm with generosity, or whether that's real estate, whatever it looks like, it just gives you opportunities to increase your net worth. And you have to start somewhere. And the tools are here with Abundant. There's so many things that the thought leaders on this platform have to offer. And there's so much experience. Like each person has their own I personally have 20 years of experience in banking, finance, and entrepreneurship. So I'm happy to share my advice, my successes, my struggles, everything to help moms so that they feel like they have a starting point that they can excel from.
What's so cool, and I love you, thank you. I think what's so cool about all of the experts and all of our moms really that are a part of Abundant Academy and on this platform is we've gotten to a level where we get to, we sit back for a second, right? So we've hit that success. We've kind of not figured it out. We're still learning, but we've been able to get to a place where we can breathe, right? And so when we have these conversations, it's typically, how do we get to the next level? How do we do the next thing? How do we teach somebody? How do we give back what we've learned? And it's just a different conversation than what I was having 5 or 10 years ago. And I just am very excited and I love having these conversations with you, because it is like, okay, what do we do? What do we do at this? What do we do with the money that we have? Like, it's just, I don't know how to articulate it. I had it in my brain. It's overwhelming and really exciting and really cool to have moms that are collaboratively not competitive, but are like, how do we continually work together to get to that next level and bring people along with us, not step on people on the way. So I think that it's really, really neat. And
yeah, it's been amazing. And last year, my husband and I launched a cosmetics company. My husband has a lot of experience. He was in the beauty industry for like 15 or 20 years. And we always talked about coming out with a product line. And we just launched a clean all-in-one morning serum that has SPF 50 from zinc oxide, which is mineral-based. And it's one of the products on the Abundant platform for influencers to use and get a commissionable link and post about. And I'm definitely happy to send it to anyone who wants to talk about it or make commission on it. It's a really incredible product, and I get so much fun feedback from moms using it. It came out of the place of me, honestly, being overwhelmed, because after I had my first child, I don't know if anybody on here ever had postpartum, But I went from like a high capacity, multitasking, like career building person to all of a sudden, I was looking at my like 8 products on my counter in the morning. And I just was like, I can't, like, I don't have any capacity for this. I don't even, I didn't sleep last night. I'm like not even sleeping. I'm basically awake every 2 hours just through the night. Like you're basically napping. There's no sleeping. And so I couldn't do it. And then I fortunately got out of the postpartum thing, like overcame it. Then after had my 2 kids, I started working again. And now I'm like, oh my gosh, I have no time for these 12 products because I have one kid on one leg and the other one on the other. And I'm like trying to get out the door. So I basically took everything I was using and I put it in one bottle, which is why it's an all-in-one. So it has like niacinamide, which gets rid of fine lines, and vitamin C, which gets rid of dark spots, and SPF, which like I should have been wearing in my 20s because I love the sun, but it's the number one thing that ages your skin is the sun. Like it's what causes most of your wrinkles. So like ladies, put on SPF. But if you're going to, it needs to be mineral based because I don't mean to be
not the cancer ones.
Not the freaking chemical, like Hawaiian
tinfoil hat on.
like these sunscreens that are made of chemicals that cause the C word. I'm just like, really? This is like ridiculous. So anyway, we brought it to market. It's been super fun. It's a great product. And a lot of the influencers on the Abundant platform, Shannon, Alexia, Chelsea, Amanda, they all have it. They all use it. We all love it. And so it's just been fun because that was a huge learning experience for me too. Being on the wholesale end of things, doing Shopify, like what Chelsea talked about, reaching out to influencers to collab, and they call it product seeding, where you send the product in exchange for a shoppable video, but you give them commissionable links and they can make money when they talk about it. But it's true. It really has to be part of your lifestyle. Like if you make one post, like you're not really going to see anything, but if you're talking about it in your stories throughout the month, you will make money off of these products which is wonderful as an influencer because you didn't have to come up with any money to bring it to the market. You're not paying for any of the marketing. You're literally just being handed something to make commission off of.
Yeah.
It's a pretty
That's the
great
perfect
deal.
way to say it, on having different affiliate programs, especially baking them into like a digital product, or like Alexia was saying at the freebie. I think that it's like really, it's almost not a mindless way, because you still have to create the content or share it with your friends or whatever, but it's a very simplistic, low entry, barrier to entry way to cash flow through affiliate marketing and different affiliate products. So that's why we went through such a rigorous vetting process and a due diligence process. Sammy and I went through it together on making sure that we vetted like all of the hero products at the very beginning, and we would not give them to any of our influencers if we didn't love them ourselves. And then the influencers have to go through those and actually like, so Alexia, Amanda, Shannon, like they all have to sign off on them too, to make sure that they like them. And so that's one thing that's been really cool about the community that we're building, is it's not just like, here, sell this, which Carissa will like too. Yeah.
It's nice to come on to the Abundant platform as an influencer or someone who's wanting to increase reach on Instagram or TikTok and have a number of products at your fingertips that you can promote. Because what happens is Instagram and TikTok pick up on those algorithms, because like me as a brand owner, I'm giving you a commissionable link and they trace that, how often you're posting, what the conversion rates are. So like on TikTok, I can see how much a content creator has sold in the last 30 days. I can see the percentage that they post in contrast to the percentage of product they receive. So like, let's say they receive like 20 products that month, it will tell you out of those 20 products, how many times they posted. I can see all the metrics. I don't even think content creators know this, but they show the brand owners everything. And then we're like, okay, cool, I'll work with them. Like there's a chance they're going to post it if I send it to them. So it actually, and then you get ranked to the top. The more you post and the more it converts, and then brands start looking at you, and then it starts to be like, oh, well, maybe now you're going to potentially start getting paid, or maybe they'll give you a retainer every month to post about them 3 times a week. It actually is in your benefit. So to come on board with something like this, where we're like, hey, here's 3 or 4 solid companies that we've vetted that you can start posting about, and actually it gives you credibility, honestly, because brands have to prove you.
Yes. Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. That was it.
Oh, and then we also have, I know Pamela has used this, Tony, a bunch of our moms actually. We also have an affiliate program with Abundant Academy. So we have multiple packages. It's not just Abundant Money. That is our core focus of today. And if you're a mom that's aspiring to have a course, if you're, Tony made $79 yesterday. If you are a mom that's aspiring to have a course, if you're a mom that's aspiring to have digital products and a product made business, if you want to talk at quarterly events, if you want to have a coaching business, that is our business. So the way that Brad Lee is a part of our community is he's our original investor. I actually chased him down for months, pitching him every single day on Instagram, saying that he needs to put us on his multi-million-dollar platform that he uses for Tony Robbins and Zig Ziglar and like all of these crazy people on Shark Tank. And he's built literally billion-dollar businesses on that platform. And so he gave us it's a $90,000 typically product, like platform. And he invested his team, his time, his energy, his business mentorship in us. And he helped us build out Abundant Academy. And what we offer is we have Abundant Money, which has over, 200, it has so many courses in Abundant Money. Like we've said, we have our generational wealth building, we have our viral playbook, we have a different content creation called the Ultimate Mom Influence, the Mom Business Blueprint, that book I shared with you earlier. I teach an entire course on that, on how to build out your Shopify store. It's called the Mom Business Blueprint. I have the AI Mom on there, where I teach you how to automate your mom life and your business at the same time, is in Abundant Money. We have and we have Shannon Karen's course, and then the generational wealth. And then we have added in, like I said, Business in a Box. And Business in a Box is your templates. It's like ready-made. Here you go. It's handed to you. Templates on your digital product, how to build out your digital product, your landing pages, your 21 days of emails, your 30 days of content, all of your business bot, everything you need. I would love for you to get that today. That's Abundant Money. If you can't afford that, if there's something going on, I'm always available via email. Send me an email. I respond to you. Send me a DM. We will figure it out. Today it comes with, it's $100 off, and it comes with a 3 months of coaching with us. So you will get weekly coaching where we will literally take you for 90 days through building out your business with us. We also have on Abundant Academy, we have multiple categories. And so the reason why I'm telling you this is not to sell you those categories. It's to tell you that there's places for your courses to live. So like Pamela, she has a huge YouTube channel following of all of her cooking and her different food suggestions and all of that. She can create a course and it can live on Abundant Health. We have Abundant Motherhood. We have a bunch of different categories that we can use this multi-million-dollar platform to put your course on, and that's a part of the Business in a Box platform. So a lot of what we faced when we were creating our coaching business, we were creating our digital product business, we were creating those things, was how do we put all of these different mechanics together? Even Shannon, who's made $2.8 million in digital product sales. Yeah. She didn't even know where to host her course, because there's Thinkific and Kajabi and all of these different kinds of like Go Higher Level, Stand Store. There's so many different platforms that we wanted to create a place for moms to come together and be able to put all of their thoughts together. I'm going to stop talking because the billionaire business builder himself is here, Brad Lee, who has taken the time to share his time and energy with us. He's the one that has given us the opportunity to create Abundant Academy. As I was saying, we have loved working with him. His insight is absolutely phenomenal and incredible. You guys talked to Phoebe earlier for Real Merchant Services. He's business partners with her, and he is our mentor, my friend, and I just adore him. So this is Brad Lee. Hi.
Thank you. Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Man, if I was any better, I'd be twin. Hey, I appreciate it. I love, again, I love what you're doing here only because, I like creating entrepreneurs. I like creating and empowering people to realize that there's more. And a lot of people are just lacking the information and or the opportunity. And you're bringing them all together in one platform, which is unbelievable. And I totally believe in abundance. And I hope everybody here obviously does. And I can just see this getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And pretty soon it's just going to be freaking huge and it's going to make a massive ripple in the world. So I don't want to take over or anything, but I'm happy to
take over, please, Brad.
Well, for some of you guys that don't know who I am, I'm not a billionaire yet, but I am an entrepreneur and I've been one for quite a while, and I've learned the ins and outs, and I understand a couple things, and it really is about mindset, skill set, and habits. And it doesn't matter if you're male or female or black or white or Asian, or whether you have kids or whether you have no kids. It boils down to, what do you want? And fortunately, God gave us something called free will, and free will is the true power. It's like people don't realize how powerful free will actually is. The ability to choose. Okay, you can choose to stay small, you can choose to stay home and not do anything, and you can choose to stay home and do something. A lot of people think, well, how do I do both? It's not possible. No, that's called limiting beliefs. And if people can understand that there are no limits except for the ones you put on yourself, you're gonna be able to open up a whole new opportunity. So most people won't have the guts to tell you that if you're a mom who wants to stay home and with your kids and make money, well, then you can absolutely do it. And not only can you should. I mean, I know what some of you might be thinking, Brad, it's not that easy. I don't have a business degree. I'm not, this or that. I'm too busy, with the house, the kids, the chores, the practice, the soccer, you know, vegan baby food I make myself, but let me stop you, because you're already doing all that. Okay. You're already managing chaos like a CEO. Okay. You're solving problems. You're negotiating with toddlers. You're multitasking like a pro. So you're built for business. Okay. You just haven't been told that yet. Somewhere along the way, society tells moms a lie. Basically, they tell you that you basically had to choose, man. You got to be there for your kids or you can make money. Which one is it? Why don't you just, why don't you be a good wife and let your husband do that, and while you just sit here and take care of the kids, which, by the way, I think is a much harder job, just so you know. Like, I hate it when people are like, oh, your wife doesn't work. No, she works harder than I do, fool. But it's complete nonsense. Okay. This isn't 1950 anymore. You don't need permission. You don't need to clock in. Okay. And you sure as hell don't need to feel guilty for wanting to contribute financially while raising your family. In fact, I think you owe it to yourself and your kids to build something that gives you freedom, right? So let me ask you this: what's better, missing milestones so you can build someone else's dream at a 9 to 5, or building your own business from home on your terms while being there for every first word, first game, scrape knee, and every moment that actually matters in life? Because we all know, once we get rich and we realize we missed all that shit, it wasn't, I mean, it was kind of worth it, but not worth it. Okay, the answer is obvious. But here's the part that most people don't tell you. No one's coming to save you. Okay. No one's coming to put this in your lap. Okay. You have to decide. You have to make a decision. You have to use that God-given free will, and you have to start. Okay. Now, don't confuse when I say simple with easy. Okay. Building a business from home takes a little effort, but guess what? You're already doing harder things every single day anyway. You're just technically not getting paid for it. So why not do it and get paid? Okay. And not only that, end up making more than your husband anyway, which I always wish is the case, because that's just freaking the best trophy you can get. Retire your husband. He'll be like, what the hell are you doing? Well, eventually, you know, especially with real merchant services, that recurring revenue kicks in, and all of a sudden, man, you're getting paid from stuff you did a year and a half ago, and it's still paying you. And pretty soon you're like, babe, let's stay here for 10 days. Oh, you know, I got to get to work. Do you? Do you? I don't think so. Mama gotcha. Okay. But anyway, why not build something that creates options so you're not stuck? You know, can we afford this? Or do I have to go back to work? You know, and here's the bottom line. The internet changed the game. There are more ways to make more money from home today than ever in the history of the world. Okay. But if you want a shortcut, if you want to start fast without creating a product or buying inventory or some complicated tech setup, there's obviously the opportunity. I think Phoebe already talked to you about merchant services. Okay. Now, every time a business swipes a credit card, you get paid. Okay. Businesses have to have payment processing. They're already going to pay somebody. Why not have them pay you? You know, it can get huge. Every business out there, whether it's a bakery, a gym, a salon, or an online store, they have to process payments. And what's funny is you already know a bunch of people that are friends of yours that are doing it. And Real Merchant Services has ways that we can eliminate fees for people. So if any of you guys are already doing business paying processing fees, you need to switch to Real Merchant Services, but then come also build the business in the merchant services space through Real Merchant Services, which ultimately allows you to, you know, get trained and get you all the, you know, products that you need and yada, yada, yada. So you don't need an office. You don't have a boss. You don't have a ceiling on what you can earn. It's all relationship based, and it's residual income. Basically, the best type of income ever is residual because it builds. Okay. And it's the easiest thing, I think, to do because you can do it from home on a phone with a Zoom, a couple hours a day, building relationships, dropping into Facebook groups, just basically putting the word out. If you can have a conversation, then you can build a business. And no, it doesn't start out like in the first week I made $1 million. No, in the first week you'd be lucky to make $1,000. But guess what? In the first year, it's pretty easy to make $5,000, $10,000 a month, even though you're not really doing it anymore. And then that could get bigger and that could get bigger. And if you kept going, I'm telling you, I mean, look at Phoebe as a story. Was Phoebe on here already? Yeah, I mean, go look her up. I mean, dude, she had her kids in the back of her car. I don't know if she told you the whole story, but it's huge. She's a millionaire, multi-millionaire now. So you could start doing that. You could start consulting programs. You could start selling products online. You could create content and coaching and offer services. And people say, well, how do you do it? It's not that difficult. People just lack the information or the opportunity. So as a coach or a course creator, you can create a course that shows people how to, plant larger tomatoes and sell 1 million courses for $50. It'd blow your mind how easy it actually is. Okay, so but the reason I like merchant services the best is because it's proven and simple. It pays recurring, and you don't have to gamble your family's savings. Okay. You don't have to gamble a big chunk of money. You just need to be able to talk, get on the conversation, get past your fear of, selling, which really isn't even selling. You're just helping people eliminate their processes or get much better ones. So regardless of which one you choose, okay, the most dangerous place you guys can be is to remain in a comfortable situation that doesn't serve you. I mean, if you guys are sitting there feeling stuck, if you're feeling guilty because you want to be at home, but you also want to contribute, you want to build something, and you're like, I can't do both. Bullshit. Stop limiting yourself. All that's free training right there. Stop limiting yourself. Stop believing limits. Okay. If you're tired of asking for permission to live life on your terms, well, then you got to take you got to make the decision, man. You got to draw a line in the sand, and you got to decide that you're no longer hoping things get better or hoping things eventually go your way or end up how you want them. because it may not ever happen. And next thing you know, your kids are gone and you're like, well, you know, I sacrificed everything for my children. Oh, what a saint you are. Like that was the only option. No, I would say that's a dumbass thing to say if you actually believe you have to pick, because you don't have to pick. You can be a super mom and a super badass and make a bunch of money and raise your kids and never miss a soccer game and all that. And by the way, now a more important, I would say, is being the super mom part. There's people in the world trying to, I'll make it dramatic, steal your children, okay? Steal their minds, steal their beliefs, indoctrinate them into things that maybe you don't believe in. And, you know, moms who work and build businesses, and yeah, I think they're called like, what are they called? Boss babes or whatever. You know, they kids go to school. I got something to build. Or worse, single moms. We're like, now you must go to work. No, you must not have to leave your kids. You can build shit with an iPhone. Okay, so stop believing the nonsense. Start plugging into the Abundant Academy. Start hanging around other people that already are doing it. Stop limiting your beliefs that think you can't, because you can. Okay, you want to raise confident, independent, successful kids? Why don't you show them what it looks like? Okay, why don't you show them how to bet on themselves? Show them that mom can be present and powerful, and that she can build a business in the cracks of her day, and she can create freedom and not apologize for it. Okay, so figure out your vehicle, whether it's merchant services or a course or any other business, but pick a lane, learn the game. Okay, train, take the uncomfortable steps and feeling awkward while you do it. Oh, and I feel stupid. Everybody feels stupid in the beginning. Okay, you're gonna feel stupid. Who cares? Who cares? What do you don't want Mrs. Kravitz next door to laugh at you? Like, you know, let Miss Kravitz laugh. Like, who gives a shit? Miss Kravitz ain't gonna be laughing when your new car's sitting there and she's like, well, what are you doing over there? Miss Kravitz will be working for you. Okay, but you got to start. You don't need to know everything to start, but you got to start. Okay, take action every single day, even if it's just 1 hour a day while the kids nap. Okay, that's enough to change your life in a year. You're not just a mom, folks. You're a CEO of your house. You're just not getting paid for it. So add that factor into it and start making that cash, start making that investment into yourself and into your family, because I think you'd be foolish not to, man. You gotta get started with something. Okay, you gotta be the example for your children. You have to, you know, hopefully, you know, build your own self-worth. Because again, I know what it must feel like for a lot of people that don't financially contribute, especially if you got some of those husbands that are like, you know, they don't think, you know, that you're financially contributing, so you kind of feel that weirdness. You know, maybe you're all lucky like Chelsea with hers. You know, he's just
I have a magic purse too, Brad.
yeah, he's just a comedian. But again, not everybody's lucky like that. Not everybody's lucky to have a guy like me. Okay. So like, I value what my wife's doing at home. She doesn't need to make any money, but guess what? She does more than I think too, because sometimes, you know, I get stuff for
More than I think too.
yeah, because like I know she has more than she claims, because sometimes she buys me things and I'm like, did I buy myself that? And I didn't. Like, she bought it. I'm like, damn, dude, how much money do you actually have? So I know you guys can do it. If you're serious about learning about the opportunity with Real Merchant Services, again, reach out to Phoebe or Chelsea. I would say that is the one you want to go with, barring all of them. Why? Recurring revenue, and you can sell it. You can sell the business. And again, Real Merchant Services will buy it from you. Work for a couple years, build up that book of business. Old big dog Daddy B will come in there and hand you a check for it, because I'll take the money for the next 30 years, because that money just keeps coming. But by then you're going to realize that is so valuable, that revenue coming in, you probably won't sell it unless somebody gives you a really stupid number. And that's what building a business is really all about. You don't want to build a job. Okay. That's what people get stuck doing. Even outside the house. I know business owners that have a business and they claim they own the business. But number one, nobody owns their own business 100%. You're always a partner with someone. Always. Anybody here own their own business 100%? Raise your hand. Nope. Because old government is in your business, which means you're a partner with the federal government. I guarantee you that. Okay. Number two, I forgot where I was going with that, but I like recurring revenue. I like the ability that everybody needs it and it's not going anywhere. And I like the ability where you don't need a big, huge investment. You need a big, huge decision. And when you look at it, it's not really that big. It's, again, mindset is always first. This is what stops everybody. Then after the mindset, it's going to be your skill set. Means you're not very good. Well, so what? You learn, you practice. There's training courses in the Abundant Academy. There's people that Chelsea knows and brings on to these meetings all the time that they got businesses. They'll show you how they're doing it. Like, dude, there's no limits. The only limit you have is the one you have in your own mind. So get a hold of that damn controller, because that's what it is. It's a controller. Most people don't realize it. I said, listen, let me pretend that I gave you a PlayStation 5 and all the games, and I've unlocked all the levels, and I gave you a big comfortable couch and a big huge TV and surround sound. And I know you guys probably aren't gamers, but if you were, you'd know what I'm talking about. Like, this is a dream come true. And then you looked around and there's no controller. You'd be like, well, what good is all this shit? And that'd be true, because it ain't nothing. And there ain't no good without the controller. And that's what I'm trying to say is this is your controller. Okay. Get a hold of it. Take control of it. It's not that difficult to use. It's called use it and understand it. That's your mindset. We'll get the mindset perfect. We'll get the abundant, growth mindset developed. And then the skill sets are easy because it's just practice, drill, and repeat. You'll get good eventually. It might take one person a week. It might take one person a month. So what? Who cares? Maybe you're really, really slow and it takes you a year and a half because you got 17 kids and they're all 3 months old. But at the end of the day, hey, you want it or don't you? Again, you either do or you don't. It's a decision. You got free will, make one, make a choice. And then once you make the choice, commit to it, okay? Develop some freaking discipline and realize, man, yeah, it's uncomfortable, okay? Discomfort is what strengthens you. You can't pray for strength and then run from the thing that strengthens you, okay? So you have to make a decision, get your mindset right and your perspective right so you can power through what most people think is uncomfortable, which is really just a blessing. It's the actual building that you're asking for. And then your habits. That's it. Mindset, skill set, habits. What are your habits every day? Get into habits and get the bad habits gone and the good habits in place. Personal development, reading, development, breathing, believe it or not. Breathing exercises, fitness, health, all nutrition and all of that. And guess what you're showing your babies now? You're showing your babies what a true, real example of what you want them to become is. So not only do you make money, you basically are showing the very thing that you love so much how to be. And trust me, you have to be before you become. So if you want to become, rich, successful, whatever's in your mind, you have to be that first. So again, I could keep going for hours, but listen, I don't want to babble. Let me stop there, Chelsea.
That was so clear and succinct. You are amazing. All of the moms are like on super fire. It's such an honor to be able to work with you and be mentored by you and have you with us. Thank you so much for spending the time, investing the time with us. And we can't wait to show you all of our success. at our next one. We're going to get out there, sell some real merchant services, and everybody's going to get active in abundant money.
Hey, and do me a favor, guys, everyone listening to this or the recording of this in the future, share it with all the moms and people that you know so the Abundant Academy gets more known. I mean, I can't believe there's not 33,000 moms in here.
I know.
Like, you guys all know moms. And again, not all of them want that, but at the end of the day, throw it out there, even if you don't think that they want it. If you're like, well, nobody really follows me, you may be surprised who's following you. Okay. So at the end of the day, share the Abundant Academy, because again, the Real Merchant Services is great. You're finding it through Abundant Academy. So if you end up being our next freaking success story, you found it through Abundant Academy. So share Abundant Academy with the world and pay it forward. Because again, that's my mission, to get the knowledge from the people who have it to the people who need it. And ladies, you now have some that is worth sharing. And by the way, good job on raising your kids and taking responsibility. I can't imagine what you guys go through every single day, and I'm glad my wife does the same thing. And trust me, if anybody has husbands or people that don't appreciate you, tell them to come talk to me, and I'll get them convinced that what you do is way harder than what we do or what I do. My wife is like, she deserves more than I give her.
That's really sweet, Brad.
It's a very important job you guys are doing. It's a very important thing. And I wish more women did it and more men appreciated them, because a lot of them are out working and their kids are in schools and their kids are in daycares. And you start to read, like, some of these daycares, they're not very good. There's people working at those daycares that should be in jail. There's teachers that are teaching those kids how to not be. And meanwhile, mom's out working and dad's out working, because guess what? We got to make some money. Well, mom and dad, you don't have to work outside of the house, number one. Nowadays, you just got to get in the position to receive commission. You just got to get in the position to receive commission. Like, that is the only trick to it. You're out there busting your ass for a salary. You're coming home beat. Your kids didn't see you all day. They've been raised by other people. And now you want to ignore them because you're tired. And then guess what? You know what they say to me on my social media, and people like me and soon to be people like you? Yeah, you don't know how hard it is. Yeah, we're handcuffed. Yeah, we're all limited. See, don't try to convince us that there's another way. Anyway, you guys are awesome.
You're awesome. Thank you so much. I really, really, really appreciate it.
Appreciate you. Well, tell me after how great I was.
Okay, we will. It'll be all over social media because you are brilliant. Thank you.
All right, you guys. Peace. Thanks.
Right. Okay, ladies, you heard the man. How was that? That was amazing, right? I really appreciate everybody hanging in, coming. He's right. Please take, like Alexia said, take pictures of screenshot your phones, the screen, share it on your social media, invite your friends, get involved in Abundant Academy. Come with us with the Abundant Money today and your business in a box. You do get your coaching included. You will get locked in with us. You will get locked in with Real Merchant Services. You will get locked in with your business in a box and all of those templates. We hold your hand. We want you to succeed. We want all of you to succeed and to hit the goals that you truly, truly, truly aspire to get. So you can do it. And there's no way that I can change or beat or improve upon what Brad said. So I'm going to end it there. Thank you so much, everybody. Yay! Have a great day.